subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Cracked oil. What you summoned, Rengoku, is amazing. Rengoku. Several Uchiha in the courtyard actually started a circle around Uchiha Madara, who was holding Rengoku in the middle, shouting Rengoku's name while spinning. After performing strange rituals, several large Uchihas returned to work. Rengoku, who was placed back on the ground, rested his head on Uncle Izuna's thigh in a daze. What just happened? Since a corn kernel can have two uses, we have to figure out how to perfectly separate these two parts with completely different functions, so as to maximize the functional application. This is called taking advantage. Uchiha Boyan simply picked up a knife and cut the corn kernels in half lengthwise to facilitate observation of its internal structure. This part seems to be a bud. He squinted for a while and suddenly discovered something surprising. Can this corn kernel be planted directly? How much did they eat just now? What a waste. What a waste of natural resources. Xingqiang pulled the corner of his master's clothes, who was holding his head in regret, and asked curiously, "Master, why are there buds? Isn't this a seed?" Uchiha Hirohiko came to his senses instantly and began to teach his young apprentice. The seed contains the bud when it is young, right here. Do you see this little point? It will slowly break open the seed and gradually grow into a bud. Seeds with this bud will be heavier than seeds without this bud. When we usually screen seeds, we can also screen based on weight. As he talked, he fell into an excited working state again. No, it's already April. Give me a batch first, and I'll try planting them. The sixth elder walked away in a hurry, holding a basket of corn kernels. The people he found all over the yard looked at each other in confusion. Clan leader, look. Let's continue to study how to eat. Taijima came to his senses and continued to arrange work. Izuna, you cut it as the sixth elder did before, leaving the bottom layer for Koichi. Madara, you give Mrs. Mikiko a hand. Koichi, see how you can get the oil out of the sticky corn paste. In order to make it easier to study how to eat corn, Mikiko Uchiha simply released her children and husband and let them go to other people's houses to eat. She took her second apprentice and moved to the patriarch's house temporarily. Akin, Xingqiang, it seems my mother doesn't want me anymore. It was also thanks to the fact that when the clan's mansion was originally built, several Japanese-style rooms were reserved for clan members who came to report secretly. Mrs. Mikiko's eldest apprentice is the one who went to the capital to open a tempura shop. Recently, she was invited to Tachibana's home to provide meals for Tachibana's daughter's wedding ceremony. Currently, the only person left in the clan who can help her is her second disciple, Uchiha Ling. By the way, Uchiha Ling is the newly married wife of the third elder's eldest son, Uchiha Kid. In short, several people in the patriarch's mansion, excluding Rengoku and Izuna, who were still growing, ate corn for a week. After experiments, Mrs. Mikiko came to a conclusion. Corn is versatile. It can be used as rice, noodles, vegetables, porridge, and even desserts. You can eat it directly by cooking it. You can eat the coarsely ground corn crumbs, and you can eat the finely ground cornmeal. Each of them even has its own flavor. In a short period of time, Mikiko only figured out a few conventional eating methods. Roughly grind off the outermost seed coat of the corn, wash it, and cook it in a porridge. You only need to add a little sugar to make it glutinous and sweet. You can also add various types of beans to it, and it will be very filling in just one bowl. Finely ground cornmeal could be used directly as a substitute for flour, or it could be steamed or baked. Steamed buns made from cornmeal are more satiating than steamed buns made from wheat flour. Although the taste is worse than the refined flour steamed buns eaten by the nobles, it is more than half a star better than the rough flour steamed buns. Mikiko also made steamed cakes from the cornmeal. After steaming, the sweetness of the corn was brought out, and with a little bit of chopped red dates, it was deeply loved by all the Uchiha sweethearts. Not only that, cornmeal can also be made into noodles, which have a different texture from noodles made from wheat flour and are smooth and elastic. It just takes some time to cook. Corn noodles are corn noodles, and the soup commonly eaten by Northeasterners is tongzi. These two are different. The previous ways to eat it all use the product of corn being dried and then ground. In addition, Mikiko also tried crushing corn kernels directly without drying. Corn itself is very glutinous. After seasoning the directly crushed wet ingredients, she took about a fistful of corn, spread it on vegetable leaves, and steamed it in a pot. It was a delicious snack. It tastes glutinous and slightly sticky to the teeth. It couldn't be better if dipped in powdered sugar. It can be called a golden rice cake. Rei Uchiha had a sudden idea and used sifted cornmeal to make tempura batter. Although the fried batter is not as light and thin as wheat flour, it is surprisingly suitable for making fried pork chops. The combination of the hard coating and the juicy meat steak makes it more suitable for workers who like to enjoy chewing a mouthful of food. Poor workers can better appreciate the sweetness of corn. Mikiko Uchiha admitted her weakness straightforwardly. There are so many possibilities after corn processing. It can not only replace wheat, but also rice. I have limited manpower, and I have to mobilize the whole family to develop recipes. Being able to make Uchiha admit defeat is an achievement that only a child of the world can achieve. Corn did it. Maybe the world just likes gold? On the other side, corn oil has also made preliminary progress. Howie performed a secondary treatment on the part containing the corn germ. First, he removed the thin outer golden seed coat of the corn kernel and then dug out the germ parts separately. Because there were too few germs, he was afraid that something would happen if he dried it directly with fire release. After all, he was missing an arm, and his ability to perform ninjutsu would be somewhat affected. He used the fire escape heating formation at home to slowly dry the germ bit by bit. After spending one night, after the germ was basically dry, he tried to extract oil with a small oil press he made. But what was squeezed out for the first time was similar to what was ground with a stone mill before, except that the water content was less, but it was still solid corn residue, and there was no trace of oil at all. He put the corn residue discharge from the discharge port into the feed port and squeezed it twice. It wasn't until the third time that he saw the liquid oil flowing out drop by drop. So slow, although the filtered corn oil is light in color and has a fragrant taste, however, a little. No, it's very troublesome. The oil yield rate of a single corn kernel is too low, and it is time-consuming. If it were not for the fact that the output speed of corn kernels is about the same as that of peas, several baskets can be harvested in one day. Extracting corn oil is obviously a loss-making business. It happened that Uchiha Mikiko had temporarily ended the first stage of exploring how to use corn, so Koichi simply sent all the small bottle of corn oil he squeezed out to her home. Professional people do professional things. Time has entered May, and something Anjuro has been looking forward to finally happened. The cherry tree I planted earlier is bearing fruit. Uchiha, who was in charge of the care, found out and informed the sixth elder in Anjuro. Xingjiang hurriedly stopped the master who wanted to pick a fruit to try with his own hands and climbed up the tree in twos and twos. He first carefully kept everyone around him away, then picked a cherry and threw it to the ground. Quiet. There was no explosion. Dai Uchiha, who was looking after the cherry tree, was confused. Xingjiang, what's wrong with you? Was it because my hands were shaking that I couldn't hold the fruit? He took a few steps forward and wanted to take the child down from the tree. Anjuro shouted loudly, "Uncle, I'm fine. Let me see if this fruit is edible. You can come here." What he has been worried about is that the cherry tree grown by cherry bomb will suddenly explode as it grows, or the fruit it produces will explode like cherry bomb. Now it seems that they should be ordinary cherry trees and ordinary cherries. No, it's not very ordinary, because this fruit is much larger than the fruit of the cherry blossom tree that you usually see. The big Uchiha approached the cherry tree and raised his hand to lift Anjuro down from the tree. Pay attention to safety. You need to confirm whether you can eat it. You don't have to climb a tree to try it. During the fruiting process, our ninja bird has already eaten it. They like to eat it very much. I think this fruit should be very sweet. Thank you, Uncle. Uchiha Hirohiko looked serious. Why can the ninja bird eat this kind of fruit? Didn't Anjuro say that no one is allowed to touch these two trees? What if the ninja bird flew somewhere else with the seeds? Uchiha realized his negligence and immediately bowed his head to admit his mistake. Sorry, I thought it was too simple. The sixth elder gave a faint hum and looked down at his young apprentice. Zingjuro, my uncle has done something wrong and needs to be punished. Please think of the content of the punishment. Anjuro didn't think it would be wrong to just let a few birds eat the cherries, but he also understood the master's intention. There are no rules, and when he has clearly said that no one should touch him, the fruit is still eaten by birds. This is the dereliction of duty of the guard. This time I was lucky and the fruit on the tree was edible. What if it really could explode? The touch of a ninja caused a cherry to explode, which in turn caused a chain reaction. Not only would the two trees be blown to ashes, but even the nearby clan members who were guarding them would inevitably be affected. The master said this to teach him how to control his subordinates. With a sullen face, he said seriously, "Uncle, you have neglected your duty. As punishment, please pick all the ripe fruits from the two trees." Yes, the fruit produced by the cherry tree is like a small heart, full and round, with red and black skin, light red flesh, and juice overflows when you take a bite. So sweet. It only takes one, and everyone who eats it will be impressed. Such a big fruit has such a small core. This fruit must be here to repay a favor. Suisuit, siisuit, siisuit. It's nothing like the small, bitter seeds produced by the cherry blossom tree. Obviously, the flowers blooming are the same as the cherry blossom trees, but the fruits they bear are completely different. Too few. Why are there only two trees? Hey, don't throw the fruit cores away. Save them for planting. The Uchihas who have been busy in this open space for 2 years enjoy the gifts of nature. Uchiha Hirohiko washed a full plate and ate slowly with Andrew beside him. Zingjuro, can you tell me now? Why have you always been afraid of being touched by those two trees? Ever since they were still seeds, Anjuro replied. Because they exploded when I summoned them. Boyan smiled gently. That's right. Zingjuro wants to protect everyone. Then do you still want to plant it? Zingjilang asked. Does the clan need it? Boyan touched Zingjilang's hair. Don't think so much. Zingjilang just needs to do what he wants to do. Zingjilang said, I think. Because everyone is very happy when eating the fruit. Okay, then let's plant it. Zingjuro, please give this fruit a name. Did you say it before? What is it called? Cherry. The cherry blossom tree bears juicy and sweet fruit like peaches, cherries, a good name. Chapter 25. Ninjutsu Pack and Digging Team. Captain. Karama, the cherry tree bears fruit, and the Great Elder's ninjutsu bag that comes with the cherry bomb also has initial results. When Taijima first approached Uchiha Akihito to share his vision, Uchiha Akihito took over the task very excitedly. You know, ninjas can seal ninjutsu in scrolls and carry them with them. If they can carry ninjutsu with them, even if it cannot match the ninjutsu they release. The ninjutsu in the ninjutsu bag alone does not need to be sealed, just open it and use it. With its characteristics, you can give your opponent a good meal. The key is that this thing can basically be used to replace the detonating charm. You know, detonating talismans are very expensive, even for a big clan like Uchiha. It is impossible for every clan member to be equipped with 10 detonating talismans. But the ninjutsu bag is different. The ninja himself can release the ninjutsu and then seal the ninjutsu. It's free. Releasing ninjutsu is a daily practice in itself, and it can also be made into a ninja tool that is as effective as a detonating charm. This is a blessing from heaven for all ninjas. Even further, everyone knows that their Uchiha are good at fire escape. They can even sell ninjutsu bags with fire escape sealed. Whether it is used by ninjas in combat or ordinary people use it for heating, it is money. However, due to the instability of fire escape, they chose to start with earth escape. The Uchiha family is not a clan without earth attributes, but everyone's first attribute is basically thunder and fire, and earth attributes are generally the second and third attributes. Finally, they took out the Earth Escape Ninjutsu Pack. They only needed to open the scroll and input a little chakra to release the Earth Escape sealed in the scroll. The Great Elder nodded with satisfaction. Earth Escape is just the first step. We must continue to work hard. Yes. However, how to deal with these earth escapes used for training has become a problem again. The Great Elder found Taijima and talked about the current progress and his needs. The sealing scrolls and materials also cost a lot. See if you can sell these earth escape ninjutsu kits and make some money for the clan. Mrs. Chihiro has always been in charge of the clan's caravan. This lady has a sharp vision and a keen sense of business. It was she who set the high-end route for walnut oil. Ninjutsu bag. Countless benefits flashed through Mrs. Senhiru's mind, but in the end they turned into two words. Confidentiality. The sealing technique is like this. It is difficult to invent, but once the sealing technique is established, subsequent imitation and improvement will be much easier. Especially the sealing masters like the Uzumaki clan. If the ninjutsu package is sold to the outside world at this time, other ninjas will definitely learn it. My advice is don't sell it to outsiders. Then, won't these be scrapped? He also wanted to give some bonuses to his children. Just because you don't sell it doesn't mean you won't use it, Senhiro said slowly. The biggest problem that caravans encounter when transporting goods is not robbers, but roads. The roads connecting various towns in the Country of Fire are in tatters. If we release the news, the towns where Uchiha merchants are allowed to enter can get roads connecting other towns built by us for free. It's just a matter of a few ninjutsu packs. If I read the array symbol node correctly, this ninjutsu pack should be reusable. The Great Elder nodded. Yes, after the ninjutsu stored inside is released, new ninjutsu can be sealed inside. As long as the road is opened, not only can we sell goods to towns that have not operated before, but we can also save time and transportation. More importantly, everyone walking on the road will know that Uchiha is willing to provide services for free. Everybody is good at building roads. A good name. In the critical period of Uchiha's transformation, there is no need to elaborate on how important a good reputation is. Taijima and the Great Elder looked at each other. Okay, I'll do as you say, and I'll have a ninjutsu bag sent to you right now. After his birthday, Xingjiang officially turned 6 and will graduate from the ethnic studies class this summer. Grandma Keiko taught them so many things. The most important lesson is how to maintain one's true nature amidst changes. The old lady looked at them with a smile, showing the lines on her face caused by time. There is no doubt that Granny Keiko is powerful. The so-called powerful is not an adjective that can only be used on the body. She cherishes life and faces death and aging. Her heart is impeccable. Anjuro respected this mother-in-law very much. So, he wanted to make something for her with his own hands. He knew that Granny Keiko liked pottery very much, but he couldn't make pottery. He only makes porcelain. In his previous life, he defeated a porcelain craftsman ghost. Before he died, the ghost asked him to take away his porcelain-making experience and make him the successor of his craft. Those who use fire are the best successors. Xingshira accepted the porcelain ghost's experience with complicated emotions and kept it with him. When he was recovering from his injuries on the hospital bed, he took it out and looked through it. I also made 1 or 2 pieces of porcelain by myself in the swordsmith village. But in the end, he handed over his knowledge to a porcelain craftsman who was rescued by him. If you want to make porcelain, you must first find porcelain clay. As soon as he told his friends about his idea, they immediately joined the plan. We are about to start a great cause. Uchiha Snow declared confidently. This great undertaking has not made any progress because they have been asking around in the tribe for a long time, but no one has ever seen white soil. Thinking about this, Kyojuro even kept asking while eating, is there any place with white soil? Kuruma, who unexpectedly likes to eat boiled corn, answered casually. There is one next to the cave where I live. Why are you asking this? White soil is not comfortable to sleep on. It's like stone. Kuruma, why are you at home? Didn't Uncle Ban go to the capital? He's not going to fight, so he doesn't need to take me with him. Kid, tell me, what do you want the white soil for? I want to make a gift for Grandma Keiko. Kuruma patted Kyojuro with his tail, thinking, after all, he is still a child. He only knows how to play with mud. Okay, tell Taijima, and I'll take you there. Thank you, Kurama. The next day, Kyojuro, Shue, Yu and Jin, plus a Kurama, formed a digging team. After packing their bags and bidding farewell to their parents, They left the tribe with high spirits under the leadership of Julama and plunged into the forest. This is my first time out of the tribe. Mom and Dad actually agreed. Because Julama is so awesome. The adults will feel at ease. Julama shook his tail after being praised. Ayu, can this fruit be eaten? No, it's poisonous. But it looks beautiful. The more beautiful it is, the more poisonous it is. Did you listen in class? I listened. The teacher said that the more beautiful a woman is, the more poisonous she is. Not this sentence. I think it's this sentence. It's about me. Speak up. In order to keep it secret, the digging team refused the protection of their parents and tribesmen, and Julama also said at the right time that he could protect a few children. This made the big Uchiha loosen up and allow a few children to leave the tribe. But Kyojuro glanced at the nearby tree with the corner of his eye. The parents must be worried. Although they were all 6-year-old children, they were ninja children after all, and Kurama slightly enlarged his body size, so it only took them half a day to rush to the cave where Kurama lived before. After observing the cave, several children looked at Kurama. Kuruma, you have worked so hard before. Kuruma, who had been lying down in the sun, was instantly furious. Hey, don't say such things in a pitiful tone. The few little Uchiha didn't say anything else, but there were a few big words in their eyes. It sucks. Kuruma scratched the air angrily and said with gritted teeth, "Let's go. I'll take you to dig the soil. Kuruma is the best. Kuruma is the best." The digging team followed Kurama to find the white soil. After Kyojuro confirmed it, they took out the small iron pickaxe from the scroll and officially started digging. Hey, Jean, don't make strange noises. Kyojuro, what's the use of this kind of soil? Why do you need this kind of soil? Isn't clay red or brown? But red soil doesn't look good. This one looks good. That's right. We must give Grandma Keiko the best gift. Don't talk on the rocks. Be careful not to fall. The clanging sounded for a long time, and the digging team gathered together a piece of soil about the same size as the 9-legged horse. They took out the scroll and put the soil away. Are we going back now? I haven't played enough. I don't want to go back either. We'll stay in the cave for one night. As expected, the little Uchiha who finally came out wanted to go out like a bird and didn't want to go back so soon. Kyojuro and Taijima applied for 2 days of going out, and he knew that there were parents nearby to take care of them. Then let's go back and clean up the cave, and then go out hunting. Great! It's called cleaning up the cave, but in fact it's just sweeping the dust on the ground of the cave. Jiolama usually pays attention to the sleeping environment. The cave is warm, dry, and ventilated. It's just because it ran to Uchiha. The cave has been empty for several months, so there's some dust. However, because of the pressure it left here, there are no signs of any animals entering or leaving the cave. The digging team quickly cleaned up a clean place, and then took out the tent and sleeping bag from the scroll. Done. I brought the lunchbox made by my mother. Well done. Jean, should we try to grill the fish ourselves? I brought the seasoning. Yes. Let's go fish. Jiolama sighed, got up, and followed a few little Uchiha. Are children so energetic? Chapter 26 Porcelain. After the digging team came back from the hard work, they immediately transformed into a pottery team. Under Kyojuro's command, they first broke the white clay they dug back into powder, then washed it to remove impurities, and quietly waited for the white clay to settle to the bottom of the basin. While waiting for the sedimentation, several little Uchiha gathered together to eat snacks, and Uchiha Shue said, "Kyojuro, you are so amazing. You even know how to make pottery." Before Kyojuro could make up a reasonable reason, Uchiha Jin answered quickly, "Because it's Kyojuro, I know. Kyojuro is a genius." Ajin, this is your smartest time. I've always been very smart. Kyojuro tilted his head and suddenly learned something. After the white clay settled, they poured out the water on the top and added clean water again and started playing with mud. Look, this is Kurama. Ha ha ha. So ugly. I thought it was a ninja cat. Mine is so good that you can see it has a head and ears. What did you make? A rice ball? I made Kyojuro. I can't tell. Damn it. You guys have no artistic aesthetics. After the few people had enough fun, They began to shape the mud seriously according to the vases and plates at home. Unexpectedly, with the reference, the few little Uchiha could copy it like a gourd, not to say 100% similar, but 90% similar. After the general shape came out, they used kunai to shave off the inappropriate thickness on it bit by bit, making the surface as smooth as possible. Then they placed the processed mud blocks on wooden racks to dry. The sun, which was about to enter summer, quickly took away the moisture, and then they used bamboo knives to carve patterns on the dried mud blocks. Uchiha Yu carved the herbal flowers that he thought were beautiful. Uchiha Jin carved his favorite fried fish. Uchiha Yuki carved the scene of Grandma Keiko telling them stories. Kyojuro thought about it and carved the Uchiha family crest on the plate. The friends all disliked him. Kyojuro, you are so uncreative. Grandma Keiko won't recognize that this is your gift. Kyojuro, do you want to carve your favorite food like me? Then I'll carve something else. After accepting the advice of his friends, Kyojuro carved a layer of flames on the outer circle of the fan crest, and the whole looked like a fan that was burning. Fire. After this, the friends reached a consensus. Kyojuro, your aesthetics is very poor. After the clay was trimmed, Uchiha Yu asked, Kyojuro, can we start firing? He knew some of the pottery production process. Do we have to set the fire escape to fire? Kyojuro shook his head. Let's go find my dad and use their furnace. Great. Uchiha Jin liked to go to the forging place the most. Can we ask Uncle Hulfing for help? Or Grandpa Futaro? Ajin, you idiot. Grandma Keiko is Grandpa Futaro's wife. Uncle Hulfing is her son. If the two of them know, Grandma Keiko will know in advance. Uchiha Yu also lowered his voice. We're doing a great secret business. We must keep it secret. The three looked at each other and stretched out their fingers together. Shoot, dash. That's it. Dad, can you help us? Pika facing 4 pairs of shining big eyes. Howie obviously couldn't bear it and agreed to the request of the little Uchiha. Yeah, they took out the clay blocks they had just made from the scroll and handed them to Howie. Howie recalled the yard of the pottery family he had seen before and told the children clearly, in our tribe, we heat the knives directly. If you want to make pottery, you can't just put the clay blocks into the furnace, but build a kiln. I've only seen the appearance of a kiln. As for how to build it, we need to explore it together. What do you think? Do you want to persist? Yes, of course. We are the strongest Uchiha. Although this has nothing to do with Uchiha, it's okay to have ambition. By the way, Uncle Howie, where do we build the kiln? Let's go to my old yard. Kyojuro and I are living in the clan leader's house now, so we don't need it for the time being. As soon as they said it, they moved their positions immediately. Before leaving, they didn't forget to steal a bunch of bricks from the forging place. Uchiha Howie thought about the workload and called Ryoji, Chung, and Gong, who are currently in the clan. After all, it is only natural for parents to help their children give gifts to their teachers. The 4 older Uchiha worked together, and their efficiency was much higher than before when there were only a few of them. They first dug an oval pit in the ground, and then left a brick-sized edge outside the pit wall to be used for building the kiln roof. Then they dug a fire chamber of a certain depth in the shape of a semicircle on the front wall of the kiln chamber, and dug a kiln door on the fire chamber wall to connect with the kiln pit. The kiln door was also arched, and a fireproof wall was built at the bottom to be flush with the fire chamber. Thanks to the fact that Gong had watched a potter's house for 3 months when he was on a mission in his early years, he more or less knew the internal structure of the pottery kiln. Otherwise, today, these 4 Uchiha fathers would really be embarrassed in front of their own children. Finally, the inner wall of the kiln was compacted and smeared with grass and mud to make the surface smooth, and then firewood could be added to bake. After baking 2 or 3 times, the inner wall became hard, and then firing could begin. A week later, the kiln was finally usable. The pottery team was not idle during this period. They pulled out all the weeds in the clan land and took away the branches that were built near the experimental site of the 6th elder and burned them all into ash. Shui asked, why do we need so much ash? Jean replied, ash has something special. When a sword in our clan breaks, we also use ash water. You said, ash can also stop bleeding. Kyojuro, Jean, and you are right. Shwe, I understand. Ash is the secret weapon of craftsmen. Kyojuro first sprinkled a thin layer of ash, and then piled up the clay blocks made by several of them in the kiln. Ash was also applied on the contact surface to prevent the blocks from sticking together. After putting them in place, Kyojuro asked several uncles to add firewood to light the fire. The firewood kept the entire wood stove 80% full. During this period, he mixed the ash and the remaining white soil with water and diluted it to a slightly viscous liquid. Several big Uchiha looked at each other and started a private chat. Do you understand what your son is doing? No. Although I don't understand it, it feels very powerful. It is much more complicated than pottery. More than 10 hours later, they removed the firewood and waited for a few more hours. The kiln temperature dropped, and Kyojuro took out the clay blocks that had been fired once and dipped them into the liquid that had just been prepared. The others watched Kyojuro flexibly and evenly spread the liquid on the surface of the clay blocks, and they dared not breathe for fear that they would disturb the birth of something extraordinary. Then, the clay blocks with liquid on the surface were put back into the kiln and fired again. This time, the firewood filled the entire wood stove, and the vigorous flames continued to burn for a whole day. Finally, when the fired clay blocks were taken out and placed in the sun, everyone held their breath. Grandma Keiko, this is our gift to you. The pottery team packed a big package and moved it to Grandma Keiko's lounge together. Keiko quickly took it. Thank you. Wow, can I open it now? Of course. The little Uchiha's eyes were full of excitement and anticipation. Pika, oh, what lovely children. Grandma Huizi opened the package with a smile, and inside was a plate wrapped in straw. Grandma Huizi carefully held it up with both hands and admired it against the light. What a beautiful white plate. The texture is white, delicate and smooth like jade, and the luster is soft like the morning mist. Uchiha Huizi looked at the other bottles and jars in the package one by one, and there were patterns carved by the children on them. She touched the plates with care, wrapped them with straw again, and put them back in the box. Huizi waved to the little Uchiha and hugged them one by one. Thank you. Thank you. This is really the best gift I have ever received. The little Uchiha laughed together. Uchiha Jean asked excitedly, Grandma Keiko, can you guess which one I gave you? Keiko pretended to be troubled and tilted her head to think, well, you made a can with fried fish engraved on it. You guessed it. Grandma Keiko is amazing. What about me? What did I give you? Xiaoxue. It should be the vase engraved with I'll tell you a story. It's very beautiful and very much in Xiaoxue's style. The herbs were made by Xiaoyu, and the family emblem and flame were made by Kyojuro, right? Yes. After returning home, Grandma Keiko carefully placed the things sent by the children on the shelf. This is the gift from Xiaoyu, and the others. Isn't it beautiful? Fukutaro came closer to observe and was amazed. What a beautiful texture, but the painting engraved on it is a bit ugly. Keiko poked Fukutaro's shoulder in a grudge. This is the children's heart. It is a priceless treasure. Kuchi and Kyo brought the pure white plates fired in the same batch to Taijima. What a beautiful thing. Where did it come from? Kyojuro made it. The room suddenly fell silent. Kyojuro is a genius. He belongs to Uchiha. You just need to remember this. Yes. Have you learned it after watching the whole process? Most of it has been learned, but we don't know the proportion of the special water at the end. Then just ask Kyojuro directly. Don't tear down the earthen kiln. You can fire a few more. This thing is not bad. Chapter 27. The Senju who sells things, and the daimyo who eats things. Tobarama. You succeeded. Senju Hashirama simply couldn't imagine that the thing in front of him was made by his own hands. How amazing! It can turn wheat into flour by itself. Actually, it's not a change. We need to input wind, a tribute chakra to use it. And there is no way to remove the wheat husks, and the powder is not fine enough. Senju Tobarama was not satisfied with his trial product. It still has too many shortcomings and cannot be applied at all. I still need to improve it. Brother, put down the crusher. I'll show it to my father. He will be very happy. Brother, Thousand-Armed Buddha looked at his eldest son, who once again failed to open the door properly, and jumped in through the window. How come you are so old and still look like a monkey? Father, look, This is made by Tobarama. It has the same effect as Uchiha stuff. Inputting chakra can turn wheat into flour. Thousand-Armed Buddha stood up excitedly and did not bother to correct his eldest son for not taking the usual path. Really? Tobarama, who came in a few steps behind Hashirama, said, "We can only break the foundation, and we still need to improve, Father. A separator is needed to add wheat husks and wheat grains. According to my observation, the wheat husks will be in the outermost ring in the rotating wind. If I can," Thousand-Armed Buddha interrupted Tobarama's musings. "Tobarama, I'll give you the money and materials, and you can continue to improve, but I want the samples and drawings of what you have now." Hashirama screamed strangely, "Father, do you want to sell this to Uchiha?" Tobarama also frowned. "Father, this is just a semi-finished product. It may be sold," Senjibit Sujin said. "The semi-finished product is just right, so that when the improved version is ready, we can buy it again. But it's nothing. Uchiha will definitely buy it if they don't want us to sell this to other grain merchants. So, this is the way you thought of making money? Brother, with all due respect, this shameless behavior is something you can do at first glance. To make money, don't think about losing face." Senju Shing hummed indifferently. "When will I send it to Uchiha?" Senjibit Sujin smiled. Let Hashirama talk to his little friend. They are also communicating anyway. 5 days later, Senju Hashirama received a reply from Uchiha Madara. "Father," Uchiha agreed. "They hope you can take your things to Uchiha's shop on the other side of Tangshu Street." Hashirama expected Senju Budama to take him to Tangshu Street with him. Even if he couldn't observe the conversation, he could just let him go to Tangshu Street to gamble. Maybe we can even meet Madara. How could Thousand-Armed Buddha not know what his son was thinking? He decisively ignored Hashirama's pleading eyes. "You assist Tobarama at home, and you must ensure Tobarama's safety. This time I will take Taowa and your sister-in-law with me." "Yes, father." Uchiha Taijima opened his Sharingan and carefully looked at the crusher brought by Senjibit Suma, and then tried the effect with wheat. It's exactly what Mu Dunsher wrote in his letter. He asked, "The stuff is very good. What are your requirements? We are all ninjas. If you have something to say, there is no need to make unnecessary twists and turns like nobles." Who doesn't know who? Senjibutama showed off his best honest smile, which made Uchiha Taijima feel sick. "We can work together." Uchiha Taijima picked up the teacup, took a sip of tea, and replied, "With all due respect, this tool alone is not enough. We can definitely spend a lot of money to buy out the blueprints for this tool." Thousand-Armed Buddha shrugged roguely. "Really? We are still improving, and I believe we will have a better use version soon." Uchiha Taijima was so angry at this naked threat that he sneered, "No matter how I look at this thing, it doesn't look like you can make it. It should be made by a member of your family who has never been exposed to others. Come here to negotiate terms with me with someone else's achievements. Chief of the Thousand Hands clan, your sincerity is too little. You better pray the Uchiha never find out who this man is." Thousand-Armed Buddha, Jin, took a step back as if he was intimidated, achieving his original goal. "I can sell you both the physical object and the drawings of this thing, and I guarantee that I will never sell it to the second person. If the improved version is made, how about showing it to Uchiha first?" Uchiha Taijima agreed. "Okay, I'll give you this number. As for cooperation, there is no need to discuss it." When Thousand-Armed Buddha returned to his clan, the smile that had always been on his face disappeared. Uchiha Taijima, the arrogant faces of the Uchiha family. I really want to tear them apart. Where did the damn rabbit get so many special food seeds? Senju Shing's skillful persuasion. After I visited Uchiha's house last time, Mr. Kisuk's hometown seems to have changed a little. Should we go and observe it? And then think about what kind of conditions can impress Uchiha. Thousand-Armed Buddha snorted coldly. "We actually have to humble ourselves to please Uchiha. Brother, the situation is stronger than the person." Situation. The smile on Senjibutama's face did not disappear, but moved to Uchiha Taijima's face. After he returned to Uchiha with the things, he called Koichi directly, took them apart, and studied them against the drawings. The reason that made him agree to buy out the Crusher was not the threat from Thousand-Armed Buddha at all. Laughing to death. When had the Uchiha clan ever been afraid of threats? Then again, Thousand Hands' threat didn't touch the key point at all. As for the use of the Crusher he bought that cannot peel off the skin. Don't forget, now Uchiha has a kind of corn that can be eaten without peeling. The Crusher couldn't have come at a better time. Autumn. Someone is coming from the Kingdom of Thunder. This is the first time Xingjiang has met the tribesman from the Kingdom of Thunder. The other person is not tall, but has a strong build. There's a big scar on his tanned face. The scar was very deep, extending from his forehead through his left eye to his cheek. His left eye has been closed, perhaps since the injury. That eye has been blind. Uchiha Ken and Anjuro met each other, and he was very excited to find that Anjuro was not scared to cry when he saw him. He smiled heartily. "This is Anjuro. What a strong boy. Ha, come on. Give you a knife." Taijima introduced. This is a clan member from the Kingdom of Thunder. You have to call him Third Master. "Hello, Third Master. Good." The voice is also very energetic. "Go play." The reason why the Uchiha clan leader, who is currently in the Kingdom of Thunder, traveled thousands of miles to come to the Kingdom of Fire is because the sixth elder discovered that corn is more suitable for planting in the Kingdom of Thunder. Corn does not have strict soil requirements and is relatively cold resistant. Although it has relatively high water requirements, the Kingdom of Thunder is close to the Kingdom of Water, and there are many water escape ninjas who escape from the Kingdom of Water. The most important thing is corn needs strong light, but the light time should not be too long. This is exactly the characteristic of sunshine in the Land of Thunder. The corn produced is in the shape of a cob, with an extremely high yield. The corn kernels are edible, and the dried corn cobs and corn stalks can also be used as fuel for heating in winter. So, after discussion, Uchiha decided to give a large amount of corn kernels to the tribesmen in the Kingdom of Thunder, and the sixth elder personally took people to the Kingdom of Thunder to guide the planting. If corn can take root in the Kingdom of Thunder, the yield of corn will be enough to meet the conditions originally stated by the daimyo of the Kingdom of Thunder. As expected, when Uchiha Hirohiko entered the country of Thunder with mature corn and corn seeds and reported the yield to the daimyo of the country of Thunder, the daimyo of the Land of Thunder personally went to the hilltop where the Uchiha tribe was located and directly promised that if it was true, as Uchiha said, by the autumn harvest of the next year, all the land deeds on these hilltops would be owned by Uchiha. The condition is that Uchiha is responsible for teaching corn and planting methods to every farmer in the Land of Thunder. Written in black and white, signed by both parties. The face of the great mingle of the Kingdom of Thunder froze. Anyway, the place he promised to go out was full of mountains, and Uchiha had been living there, and he couldn't take it back, so he might as well just be a favor. Isn't this equivalent to getting high-yielding seeds for free? After the matter was settled, the daimyo of the Kingdom of Thunder stayed in the Uchiha clan and enjoyed a corn feast. Steamed, boiled, baked, fried, all tasted. At the end of the banquet, he wanted to take a basket back to the palace to eat, but it was the agricultural officer who persuaded the daimyo of the Land of Thunder on the grounds of saving seeds. Chapter 28, Kin and Jin's Friendship. And after hearing the news from the Land of Lightning, and hearing that the daimyo of the Land of Lightning promised to give the land deed to the Uchiha in the second year, Taijima even wanted to move back to the Land of Lightning with his people. Kyojuro asked curiously, "Uncle, why do we move to the Land of Fire?" Izuna answered, "It's because the climate conditions in the Land of Lightning are too harsh, and there is little food. Even if we Uchiha work hard to complete the mission, it is difficult to ensure that the elderly, weak, women, and children in the group have sufficient supplies to safely survive the cold winter." Madara added, "According to the stone tablet in the shrine of the clan, it is said that the solution to the Uchiha Sharingan dilemma is in the Land of Fire." Legend? Taijima looked at Kyojuro and thought, could it be that Kyojuro is the solution mentioned in the stone tablet? The more he thought about it, the more reasonable it seemed. Only after the Uchiha moved to the Land of Fire could Koichi and the Senju people give birth to Kyojuro, and with Kyojuro's special wood release, he could summon the sunflower that can heal the Sharingan. Wait, Taijima suddenly realized something he had overlooked. In fact, The two most important considerations for moving all the Uchiha clan's manpower to the Land of Fire have already had perfect results. Now there is a high-yield grain variety, such as corn, that can be planted in the Land of Thunder, which will solve the problem of food shortage in the Land of Thunder. The daimyo of the Land of Thunder even promised the Uchiha a land deed. With this land deed, the Uchiha had the capital to settle down in the Land of Thunder. Of course, they originally lived well in the Land of Thunder, but this was good because the Uchiha clan's good fighters turned their lives into sharp knives, fighting, and plundering materials by any means to ensure the survival of the old, weak, women, and children in the clan. With the land deed and the good seeds, they finally got the confidence to stop and take a breath. So, do you want to go back to the Land of Thunder? If they really return to the Land of Lightning, let alone whether the current ninjas of the Land of Lightning will gather together to cause trouble for the Uchiha, Taijima is extremely reluctant to give up the good situation they have worked so hard to build in the Land of Fire. 70% of their profits already rely on commercial activities. If they move away from the Land of Fire in the center of the continent, give up the favorable business environment of the Land of Fire, and return to the Land of Lightning, which is a remote and poor place, their profits will plummet. At the clan meeting, Taijima raised his current troubles. The Land of Fire? Or the Land of Lightning? The great elder Zhongrun was born in the Land of Lightning. If he could return his hometown, he would certainly agree with both hands. He always remembers standing on the top of the mountain and looking around. There are mountains in front of him and black eagles flying through the snow. Whenever he thinks of the mountains in his hometown, he will not extinguish the belief in his heart that he will always climb forward and never stop. The second elder wanted to stay in the Fire Country. After all, although her hometown was good, the opportunities and profits that could be seen were real. What she could see was the family's increasingly rich profits and increasingly less loss rate. In order to allow the weak in the family to live a stable life, she was willing to sacrifice her life for it. The third and fifth elders were neutral. As long as the Uchiha could prosper and prosper forever, what difference did it make whether it was the Fire Country or the Lightning Country? Finally, the fourth elder, Senburu, said something to end the topic. Both countries have the blood of the Uchiha. Isn't that good? Isn't that good? This is great. There are only 5 major countries in the world that can be called powerful countries. As long as there is no natural disaster that destroys the world, the Lightning Country and the Fire Country cannot be cold at the same time. As long as any of these countries exists, the Uchiha bloodline will not be cut off. But if we want to have medium-sized or larger ninja clans in both countries, the birth rate in the family. Speaking of this, Chiburu had a headache. You should assign fewer tasks to them. As the clan leader, you don't arrange blind dates for the clan members of the right age, let alone others. Mikiko, the eldest disciple, is 18 years old and should be looking for a wife, but you actually sent her to the capital. Taijima smiled awkwardly. I will arrange it. I will definitely arrange it. On an ordinary morning when winter was about to begin, the clan leader's family started another lively day. Kyojuro refused his father's request to use fire escape to heat the water for washing his face, and Koichi could only go to the kitchen with sadness to prepare today's breakfast with Izuna. Dad, good morning, little uncle. What are we having for breakfast today? Corn porridge and a few side dishes, including the salt-grilled sea bream that Kyojuro likes. Taijima poked his head in while brushing his teeth. Corn porridge? Did you use the crusher you bought before? Father, don't talk while brushing your teeth. It's not the one you bought before. Brother Koichi made a small one. It's very convenient for crushing corn kernels. Uchiha, who had just returned home from morning training, took out a letter from his arms. Father, Brother King just gave me a letter saying it was from Lord Tachibana. Taijima rinsed the tooth powder in his mouth. Was it from Tachibana? Has there been any news from the capital recently? No, that's strange. Why write to him for no reason? Father, Brother Madara, it's time to eat. Coming. Tachibana sent a letter of invitation, inviting Taijima to his capital to tell a story. After the two met and exchanged greetings for a while, Tachibana explained the purpose of inviting him here with a slightly embarrassed expression. He wanted to adopt Masakazu Uchiha as his son-in-law and adopted son. Uchiha Masakazu, Uchiha Mikiko's eldest apprentice, is currently the owner and chef of the Kinmando store in the capital. Tachibana also knew that it was unreasonable for him to want to adopt a young man with a family as his son-in-law. After all, if a son-in-law or a son-in-law adopts a son, he must first go through the adoption procedures and recognize the young man as his son before marrying off his daughter. To son, becoming an adopted son means giving up the young man's original surname. In this era, generally those who can agree to be sons-in-law and adopted sons of the second and third sons who cannot inherit the family business, or young people who are orphans, helpless, and have no foundation. It is almost impossible for a young man like Uchiha Masawa, who comes from a well-known family, has many relatives, all of whom are good at fighting, and has a career of his own to agree to become someone else's son-in-law. Tachibana Jiping said in embarrassment, "To be honest, I am over 50 and have only 2 daughters. It is a matter of life for my daughter and the continuation of my family. I am really optimistic about Zhenghe's child." Taijima nodded without saying anything, but asked, "Have you discussed this matter with the 2 young men?" Tachibana Jiping said, "Not yet. I have to talk to you, the patriarch, first. As far as I know, Zhenghe's parents should have died, and the only people he is close to are the teacher's family. If I take the initiative to tell him, it will inevitably make him think that I am using my power to suppressing people will be detrimental to his relationship with his daughter in the future." Having said that, Taijima could only agree to ask Masakazu what he thought. "I can only ask. After all, you also know that it is best for the children to be willing to get married. Otherwise, even if they are forcibly matched together, I am afraid it will only be sweet and painful. Yes, I can only do this to you." "Where is it?" Back home, Taijima sat in his study and meditated. Today's matter was definitely not as simple as Tachibana said. Why do 2 young people marry Kin and Jin? Why do they find a young talent to entrust their career? Oh, only the 9 lamas in the Uchiha clan can believe it. The matter of raising a son-in-law and adopting a son is something that needs to be opened up in the Tachibana family tree. Tachibana Jiping couldn't have only thought about it for a day or 2. I'm afraid it wasn't the last time when Zhenghe was asked to take care of his daughter in hairpin ceremony. He had such a plan. Do you want a closer connection with Uchiha? Or do you want an heir with Uchiha blood? And it's been half a year since I put it off until now. This old fox probably secretly created the opportunity for the 2 young people to get to know each other. Seeing his daughter's heart secretly promise, Zhenghe also responded. Only then did he dare to test himself with the sincerity of 2 young people. If he sternly scolds and prevents Zhenghe from seeing his daughter, it will arouse Zhenghe's rebellious psychology. Elope, or taste the forbidden fruit like Koichi. If the child is in his daughter's belly, he will still have to take him back to Tachibana's house. The final result was that Zhenghe was separated from his family, and the Tachibana family, no matter what, can get a child with Uchiha blood. If this child opens his eyes, the Uchiha family will definitely approach the Tachibana family for the Sharingan. What good calculation. Taijima sat in the darkness, his scarlet eyes shining. If he really gets married and has children with the Tachibana family, it will definitely be more help than loss to the clan. But in this matter, Zhenghe's thoughts still need to be determined. Izuna, father, ask Su to arrange for someone to bring a message to Zhenghe and ask him to come back when he rests. Looking at Uchiha Masakazu, who was kneeling opposite him, Taijima motioned for him to relax. He told Masakazu everything Tachibana told him. "What do you think? Let me explain first. If you don't want it, we will reject it directly. Uchiha has the ability to make the tribe say no loudly." Masakazu first bent down deeply, put his forehead on the floor, and bowed to Taijima. Then he said, "Second uncle, I really want to marry the Tachibana family, but I just want to change my surname. If my father finds out..." Taijima shook his head. "If your father knew that you were going to start a family, he would definitely be happy." Zhenghe smiled and continued, "I do have a crush on Li Hua, the eldest daughter of the Tachibana family. It's more than that." Taijima said, "Have you thought about it?" "I have thought about it. There must be someone in the capital who is completely committed to the family. If I can rely on Tachibana's connections to get an official position, I will be considered to have entered the class of scholars." Taijima sighed. "You kid, you are too thoughtful. Why are you doing this?" He breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. As long as Zhenghe didn't suddenly go crazy and want to play life and death, he had family interests at heart. "You have worked hard for Uchiha." Uchiha Masawa kowtowed again. "After today, although the surname Uchiha has been hidden from my name, the soul of Uchiha has always been rooted in my heart. For the glory of Uchiha." Chapter 29 New Year and Ice. Since the marriage of Uchiha Masakazu, crossed out, Tachibana Masakazu was finalized, the clanland seemed to have suddenly entered the wedding season. Uchiha Taijima and Uchiha Madara, the two current clan leaders and the next clan leader, are busy every day either serving as male guests for this family or going to that family to help receive the betrothal gifts. Kyojuro then realized how busy it is to be the clan leader of a large family. Whether the clan members have enough food, clothing, and money for the change of seasons, how to maintain the daily expenses of orphans and widows, which families have unhappy relationships, and there are also major events such as weddings and funerals of clan members. Not to mention that the ancestral hall has to be opened to register the newborns of the clan members this year, when the new year is approaching. All the trivial matters, big and small, are under the control of the clan leader. No wonder Uncle Taijima was so happy when Uncle Madara took over. Kyojuro suddenly felt that the plants he summoned seemed to have added too much workload to his family. But the clan members perfectly took on the emergencies, and the life of the clan was prosperous, getting better and better every day. "Uchiha so awesome. So happy. What did you see?" "Dad, nothing. We Uchiha are awesome. We can be even more awesome in the future." Howie also smiled. "Yes, we can be even more awesome." Busy until the new year, all the things before the new year have been done, and the people of the Taijima family can get together to spend the new year quietly. A few juniors isolated Taijima, who was still drinking and watching fireworks, and played the promotion map around the kotatsu. The map was full of official positions of 2 officials, 8 provinces, 1 platform, and 5 guards. It started with white ding, no official position or rank. The number of steps forward was determined by rolling the dice. Following the white ding, walk from the outside 1 square at a time, 1 circle at a time, and walk inwards. When you reach the middle position, you will get the highest official position in the whole map. Generally, it is the position of 3 ministers, including the Grand Minister of State, the Minister of the Left, and the Minister of the Right. Whoever reaches here first will win. Various events will be triggered randomly in the middle, which may lead to conviction or promotion. In the end, Uchiha Madara became the new Grand Minister of State, Prime Minister, by defeating the previous Grand Minister who sold his daughter. Uchiha Koichi was originally diligent in Hyogo Ryo and finally reached the position of Hyogo Assistant. As a result, he encountered an unexpected event in the last round and met the Emperor, who came to inspect his work. In the end, he became the queen with his beauty and had 2 children in 3 years. Uchiha Izuna had a smooth start and formed an alliance with Uchiha Madara with his amazing luck. As a result, he encountered villains in the process and was tricked. In the end, he could only sew clothes for the queen in the Sewing Palace Rio, embroidery lady in the Needlework Bureau. Kyojuro successfully became the chief cook of the Great Kitchen Rio, chief steward of the Imperial Kitchen, by relying on random events that went astray all the way. Izuna felt that he was ridiculed. Thinking back to the random events encountered in the game, Koichi always felt guilty. Uchiha Madara was very unhappy when he saw that the highest position was only the Grand Minister, even though there was someone with a higher status than the Grand Minister. Kyojuro was very happy that he could stay in the kitchen and cook delicious food every day, but would be even better if he could go to the guardhouse. It's spring again. In order to avoid Taijima's urging for marriage, Uchiha Madara ran away with Kurama on the pretext of going to various countries to challenge the tailed beasts as training. The cherry trees planted a few years ago are blooming again. The special peas were also planted on time, but Kyojuro still misses his master, who is now in the land of lightning. He sighed with his face in his hands. I don't know if the master is doing well in the land of lightning. When the 6th elder left, he also took half of the people in the agricultural department. This year, they did not expand the scale of planting, but maintained the scale of last year. After all, it is almost April again, and no one knows what new and strange plants Kyojuro can summon this time. Uchiha on the side said with a smile, "The sixth elder lives very well in the land of thunder. Every family he goes to treat him as a guest of honor. The people of the land of thunder are vying to be selected by Uchiha Boyan and get the priority to try corn. This right was given to the sixth elder by the daimyo of the land of thunder. Currently, only he can decide which piece of land is suitable for growing corn. Of course, the first batch must be planted in the manner of the daimyo of the land of thunder. Those families of the land of thunder, who were originally rough and generous, pinched their throats and spoke softly in front of the sixth elder, for fear of scaring the sixth elder. Kyojuro was a little speechless. Although the master looks gentle and humble, he is also a ninja. But he also knew that this was because the land of thunder wanted a high-yield food that could be grown in the native land of the land of thunder. I wonder what kind of plant I can summon this year. Recently, the clan began to experiment whether the corn pitcher can be upgraded with the sun patch. I just don't know what the corn pitcher will look like after the upgrade. Will it throw corn kernels with different textures? Kyojuro, Kyojuro, come and see what's going on? Uchiha Taijima's voice came out of Mao's mouth. The nearby big Uchiha heard the voice and immediately carried Kyojuro back to the clan leader's house. Kyojuro walked in and found a blue tree growing in the yard. Pea shooter? What spit out seemed to be an ice ball. Kyojuro quickly checked the panel. Ice shooter is a special upgraded version of pea shooter. He asked another big Uchiha in the yard. Uncle, how did you find this? The great Uchiha of the medicine hall explained. Aren't there more and more pea shooters in the clan? The space in the area we marked out before is a little insufficient. So this one was planted by the well. I put sun patch on it, as usual, but other pea shooters only need more than 100 sun patch, and this one has been fed nearly 200, but it still hasn't upgraded. The fifth elder thought we had discovered a special species and wanted to continue researching, so we continued to feed it sun patch, and then it became like this. As the great Uchiha narrated, the content on Kyojuro's panel changed accordingly. People often told him how cold he was or warned him to be calm. They told him to keep calm. Cool just rolled his eyes, but he actually heard everything. Activation conditions. Ordinary pea shooter plus 225 sunshine patch plus water element. Kyojuro said, Uncle, this is a special upgrade of the pea shooter, which can spit out frozen peas. Uchiha Izuna was watching the first frozen pea spit out by the special pea shooter. Father, this one has not melted for a cup of tea, and it is stronger than ordinary ice. Ice is a rare thing, especially in the fire country. The fire country has water ninjas, but there are no ice ninjas like the snow clan. The summer in the fire country is particularly long. If their store can provide a little coolness in the hot summer, I believe it will be more popular. Tashima said, leave this with me first. As for how to apply it and where to apply it, it needs to be discussed later. Chapter 30 Cabbage? After Uchiha Masakazu changed his name to Tachibana Masakazu, Tachibana Jippei began to take him with him, taking him to banquets, introducing him to the current situation in the court, and teaching him how to be a noble. Step by step, guide him into the circle of the capital. Fortunately, a large part of the Uchiha family's family knowledge was inherited from when he was a noble in the land of thunder. Masakazu Tachibana understood it very quickly. What Tachibana Jippei is most satisfied with is Tachibana Masahiro's temperament. In official circles, too much talk can lead to many mistakes. If you're not 100% sure, don't speak. But to truly introduce this young man into the DPRK situation, an opportunity is needed. Masakazu sent a letter to the Uchiha and asked them if they have anything good that they can offer as tribute to the daimyo. Yes, father. Half a month later, Uchiha sent someone to deliver a box of tightly wrapped pottery. Uchiha, who had brought the pottery, watched the box and the pottery contained in it cross the open road. After Tachibana Jippei retreated, he took out a scroll from his arms. Master Tachibana, this is the gift we want to give to the daimyo. A set of white porcelain tableware. Tachibana Jiping was stunned. Dai Uchiha explained, because the box has to be opened and inspected by each level along the way. I can only bring it in a scroll. After a while, Tachibana Jiping suddenly came back to his senses, slapped the table, and stood up. You are right in considering this. This thing must not be revealed in advance. He excitedly walked around the room with his hands behind his back. Okay, great. With this thing, our plan will be 100% successful. Their daimyo cared most about appearance and royal authority. Anyone or anything that could show him his privileges in front of everyone will be favored by him. This kind of rare treasure that no one has ever seen before was easily used by him as a utensil for daily meals. What else could show his superiority and dignity more than this? In April of another year, Kyojuro celebrated his 7th birthday. Except for Madara and Kurama, who were still traveling abroad, the patriarch's family gathered at home to celebrate Kyujuro's birthday. 7 years old, for the ninja family, means that a child has finally stood up, and it also means that this child has to leave the clan, step out of the protective circle of his parents, and explore the cruel world outside. Kyojuro, happy birthday! I was half excited and half worried at the thought of Kyojuro going out of the house to pursue his career. He drank heavily throughout the scene, and when he got drunk, he hugged Mao Mao and cried bitterly. You daddy Kyojuro, how come you have grown up in such a blink of an eye? Obviously, you are still so young. Uchiha Izuna was holding the hangover soup and trying to get Howie to drink it without forgetting to answer the question. Brother Howie, what you're holding is Mao Mao. Can you keep it small? You and Shu. Kyojuro is fine. Stop crying and drink first. Give me wine. I can still drink. Yes, this is wine. Drink it quickly. You won't be able to do it, right? I can do it. After Howie drank the hangover soup in one gulp, he fell asleep soon after. Xingjiang, who had been anxiously running around beside him, finally breathed a sigh of relief. He wanted to step forward, but Izuna was afraid that Koichi would lock him in when he got closer, so she kept him behind. The room fell silent. Izuna helped Koichi back to his room to rest, and Taijima talked to Anjuro about what he would do next year. Xing Shoulang. Next year, I will find a transportation task with a suitable distance in the clan. You have to travel with your uncles. No matter what you encounter on the road, protect yourself. Can you do it? Anjuro asked, what if someone attacks? What if the uncles are injured? Then you must protect yourself. Taijima emphasized seriously and then softened his tone. Now the caravan is full of elites from the clan who have been on the battlefield. They're all very strong. They don't need the protection of a kid like you. Do you understand? No. Taijima touched Andrew's hair, which became increasingly fluffy as he got older. Although there was a small knot tied at the back of his head, it still felt as good as ever. You should train more intensively. If you're still not good at ninjutsu, focus on swordsmanship. A powerful samurai can cut off waterfalls with one sword. Work hard in that direction. The day you can do it, I will admit that you are a strong person who doesn't need protection from others. Is it agreed? Well, it's agreed. Before then, I will protect myself. Good boy. Taijima patted Anjuro's shoulder. Let's see what new plants you can summon this year. Oh, by the way, the letter that Madara sent home before said that he wants you to make the handprints according to the handprints of Yoshiwinsi. This kid must have been mixed up with the wooden messenger again when he went out to travel. You don't know how to send it for your birthday. Souvenirs come back. Although he still couldn't release his ninjutsu, Anjuro's hand seals were getting faster and faster, and he could complete 3 hand seals in 1 second. Accompanied by the familiar smoke, Cabbage Pitcher joins in. The cabbage pitcher is very good at smashing cabbages. After all, that's how it makes money, and it's good at it. It just doesn't understand how the enemy got to the house in the first place. After looking at the panel and then at the round shape of the cabbage pitcher on the ground, Anjuro was extremely happy. Here comes another edible plant. How can you have fried pork cutlet rice without shredded cabbage? Uncle, this is a vegetable. It's the same as a corn pitcher. Vegetables, Taijima nodded. Vegetables are not bad. The unit price of vegetables is quite high. If it were in the land of Earth, it would be more than 3 times more expensive. It seems that the clan can try to open up trade routes to the Kingdom of Earth. Has Anjuro thought of its name? Cabbage pitcher. Cabbage. Taijima looked closely. The leaves are curled and wrapped around the center. It's a very vivid name. Izuna, who finally settled Koichi properly, also joined the conversation. It's okay to call it cabbage. How do you eat this? Cold or stir-fried? I don't know. Have the targets in the yard been put away? Let's see what they can throw out first. What can a cabbage pitcher throw? Of course it's cabbage. After watching the cabbage fall apart on the target, Izuna and Taijima quickly rescued the dozen or so cabbages they threw later. This thing could be used as a training prop. Izuna weighed the cabbage in her hand. You have to seize the opportunity, and your movements have to be gentle, and you can't block the target. Taijima agreed with Senna's view. Inform each family's children around 10 years old to come and pick up the cabbage. It's a good time to explore how to make this delicious. Are you all coming? Taijima knocked his son on the head and said, "Come here." Anjuro's would release has long been an open secret in the clan. Hello, Chief. Brother Kwana. Zingjuro. Long time no see. Do you remember sister? For a moment, the yard of the clan leader's house was crowded with half-sized Uchihas. Anjuro summoned 4 more cabbage pitchers, which made the Uchihas who had witnessed the wood release technique for the first time applauded in unison. Bang, 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 bang. Well done, Anjuro. With a headache, Izuna directed the group of Uchihas who liked to join in the fun to line up in groups and step forward to pick up the cabbage one by one. If anyone can't catch it, just wait for additional training. There's no way I can't pick it up. Brother Kwana, you're looking down on us. Already at their most active age, and with such novel things to play with, the Uchihas excitedly showed off their skills. Back flipping on the spot, stepping on the wall, and doing a kite turn are all the basics of the basics. You can substitute the beginning of Jackie Chan's adventures. Fun. Anjuro was dazzled by what he saw. Even these people can find time to touch Xing Zhulong. In the bustling evening, everyone dispersed. Kwanai picked up a few more cabbages for the family to eat at night, and then put away the targets. Without a target to attack, the cabbage pitchers also fell into a deep sleep. Howie woke up after sleeping all afternoon and ran to the kitchen to cook. What's this? Your son's newly summoned plant. Tell me about you. You're not a good drinker, but you still drink so much. You. The situation is special. Second uncle, I will definitely stop drinking from now on. How do I make this? Taijima weighed the cabbage and said, Anjuro said, this is a vegetable. Let's stir-fry it first to try the taste. How? He held a knife in one hand and asked while cutting vegetables, aren't you going to send it to the agricultural department this time? Taijima cut some pork shreds as ingredients. The 6th elder hasn't come back yet. Let's talk about it later. Since the leaves of cabbage are relatively firm and thick in texture, Koichi chose to stir-fry them over high heat in order to preserve its crispy texture. In order to compare the taste of raw food and cooked food, Taijima also chopped the cabbage into thin shreds, simply mixed it with sugar, and evenly mixed it. After the dishes were served, everyone couldn't wait to take a bite and said in unison, 5 ants. This thing is so crispy even after it's fried. It's delicious. Father, the cold version is also delicious. It seems that the cabbage itself has a little sweetness. The cold version is more refreshing, and it will probably go well with fried things. I feel like making hot pot dishes would also be good. Zing Shura, you did a great job. The same scene also happened in every household in the Uchiha clan. Some Uchiha made salty and spicy pickled vegetables. Some Uchiha eat it with a fried pork cutlet at home. Uchiha Ling was pregnant recently and couldn't eat. Huafeng made the cabbage given to them into tomato-flavored stewed cabbage rolls, which was sour and very appetizing. Others simply wrapped the meat in cabbage leaves and fry them. The originally easily burnt barbecue has tender cabbage leaves inside, which is another delicious dish. The next day, Anjuro thought about how to make okonomiyaki that he had eaten before. He poured water and eggs into the flour and stirred it into a batter. He poured the cabbage, minced corn, and minced pork that he had at home into the batter and added a little bit. Season with salt, then fry in a pan, and add your favorite sauce when eating. It is very popular with the family. Mikiko Uchiha, as the clan's cook, thought up a somewhat complicated soup. The main ingredients were cabbage, chopped corn, mushrooms picked in the forest, pickled bacon, and milk. First, remove the cabbage core that affects the taste. Then chop the cabbage leaves into small pieces. Remove the roots of the mushrooms and chop them into small pieces. Clean the bacon and cut it into small pieces. After the corn oil is heated, stir-fry the bacon until fragrant. Then add chopped cabbage and mushrooms. After all the ingredients are stir-fried, add 2 small spoons of flour to the pot. Stir until no flour particles are visible in the pot. Then add chopped corn and milk. Slowly heat to a slight boil. Because the bacon inside can provide salt, no additional seasoning is needed. This soup is milky white in color, thick in texture, and rich in nutrients. It is very suitable for autumn and winter. Just one bowl can warm people up. When Kyojuro, who went to play with Ajin, saw this soup, he was in awe of Mrs. Mikiko. Isn't this what the foreigners drank in his previous life? A bowl is so expensive, and it's not enough to eat. Sister Mikiko, our store also sells this. Kyojuro suggested excitedly after drinking a bowl. It's very profitable. Mikiko was a little tempted. Since Kyojuro thinks it's very good, it will definitely make money. I'll tell the clan leader, we'll sell it when it's cold. And there's Grandpa Jien. The Land of Thunder? The Land of Thunder is better. The Land of Thunder has a developed animal husbandry industry. Milk is cheaper. People there are more accustomed to the taste of milk, and the weather gets cold earlier. Isn't it the most suitable country to sell this soup? Mikiko kissed Kyojuro's little face excitedly. What a little business genius. Half a month later, on March 3rd, the daimyo held a tsushue banquet on the embankment of the Otori Pond, as usual. The banquet invited more than 5 civil and military officials, as well as folk poets, so that the monarch and his subjects could get along and sing praises of the peaceful and prosperous times. Amid the melodious music, the participants sat by the winding stream, and the wine glasses filled with fine wine were placed in the water, floating on the water and moving with the flow of the water. The guests were asked to compose a poem before the wine glasses floated in front of them, and the poems were chanted by professional staff, and the speed and literary talent were evaluated. In previous years, many folk poets who made excellent works at the banquet were rewarded by the daimyo. If the officials had good poems, they would be rewarded according to their status. This is not only an exciting and challenging game, but also a great opportunity to show your talents in public and recommend yourself to the daimyo. The daimyo was also happy to hear his ministers singing praises. When he heard a wonderful sentence, he would order his attendants to copy it down and then ask the palace musicians to compose a suitable tune on the spot to recite the waka. After 3 rounds of drinking, the wine glass stopped in front of Tachibana Jihei. He wrote the waka he had prepared on it and presented it to the daimyo. The daimyo became interested and asked, I wonder what the treasure you said in your song is, as bright as the moon, as clear as the sky, whiter than frost and snow, and worth 1,000 gold. Tachibana Jihei stood up and bowed and replied, Your Majesty, I got this treasure by chance, and I was going to present it to Your Majesty at the banquet today. The daimyo nodded slightly, and the waiter beside him immediately shouted loudly, Call Tachibana Jihei's son Masakazu to present the treasure. Chapter 31 White Porcelain. And going out, Masakazu Tachibana brought a box to the daimyo, knelt down and saluted, then opened the box and revealed the contents. Because Zhenghe is still white, he has to pay a big courtesy. This object is called porcelain and is specially presented to Your Majesty. The daimyo waved his hand and asked the waiters on the side to carry the box up. After taking a look at the porcelain in the box, the daimyo was overjoyed. I praised Tachibana Jiping for having a successor. He reached out and took out a wine glass from the box, caressing it fondly, and then ordered the caterer to remove the dishes, rearrange them with porcelain tableware, and serve them again. The officials sitting below stared at the wine glasses placed in front of the daimyo table. This cup is as smooth as jade and seems to be emitting a faint moonlight. The material looks like jade, but not jade, and it looks even more wine-like in the candlelight. What nice view. By chance, the maid had already replaced the wine jug with a porcelain one. The daimyo took a satisfied sip of the wine in the glass and motioned for the maid to come and pour the wine. The graceful maid held the pot in her bare hands. The delicate surface made the maid's white fingers look rough. When the dishes were served on porcelain plates of different sizes and delivered to the daimyo, the dense heat made the eyes of the civil and military officials turn red. Civil and military officials. I want it. At the same time, my heart was bleeding. Look, just for this set, just for serving the dishes, there should be plates of different sizes, large dishes for big dishes, small plates for side dishes, and medium plates for mixed dishes. The dipping sauce also comes with a small plate. If it could hold a house full of gold, it would really be a house full of gold and jade. Not to mention there are used bowls, divided into rice bowls, noodle bowls, and soup bowls. Not to mention cups, big cups, small cups, wine glasses, teacups. A cup must be paired with a pot. Otherwise, it would be too embarrassing to have a circle of porcelain cups there with a rough clay pot in the middle. You can't just have one set. If you accidentally break one of them and repair a ceramic utensil, you may be ridiculed by others for the dilapidation of your home. But this porcelain thing is really beautiful. They look really good together. Even the craftsmanship of Dashi Ji, who was tired of seeing and eating in the past, seemed so different. Some officials with good literary talents raised their glasses and recited poems on the spot. They first praised the luxury of the banquet and had never seen such fine utensils. Let me once again preach about the achievements of the daimyo last year, caring about the world and loving the people. The daimyo of the land of fire enjoyed the envious gazes of his ministers. Before the banquet was over, he summoned Tachibana Sakamoto and the Ministry of Civil Affairs to serve under Shurhei Tachibana. After the spring hunting banquet, Tachibana Jippei always receives secret letters from his colleagues. It's nothing more than asking, "Where did you get this thing? Can you think of a way to get one for them?" Some smart people thought about Tachibana Masakazu's background and had already taken the first step to get to know Uchiha. As for Uchiha, he did not open a store in the capital with the same fanfare as he did for other products. Instead, he occupied the cave where the 9 llamas lived before, sent people to guard the porcelain clay there, and opened a kiln on the spot. Only those who can find them can buy porcelain from them. This style of not publicizing it to the outside world and focusing solely on craftsmanship made nobles flock to it even more. This is the true spirit of craftsmanship. Ever since Uchiha Taijima made it clear on his last birthday that he would let Anjuro go out with the clan's caravan for training, Anjuro had been looking forward to this day coming soon. Seeing it in amusement, Taijima deliberately did not tell Anjuro about the follow-up arrangements, but settled everything, and also wrote a letter to Kodono's eldest son by the way. "Anjuro, Uncle Grandpa, can I go out?" Anjuro's big eyes flickered, and the words in them made Taijima's conscience ache. Taijima even wondered if Anjuro had opened his eyes. "Madara wrote you a letter. Do you want to read it?" "Want." In the letter, Uchiha Madara briefly mentioned that he recently played with the 2 tails in the Land of Thunder and met the 8 tails, but the 8 tails didn't look good, so he didn't challenge him. This part only occupies a small half of a page of letter paper. The next 3 pages of letter paper are all about precautions when going out, including but not limited to what clothes and shoes to wear in which country and region, what weapons and food to prepare, how much money to bring. The money must be converted into copper coins before it can be spent, and when entering the country of water and encountering water in the stalls. You must first let your companions know the clansmen used some weird tricks like fire escape. Anjuro happily wrote down the items one by one, and also got a glimpse of some of the strange situations Uncle Madara himself encountered outside. For example, if you blow fire into a puddle to escape, Uncle Ban must have met someone from the Ghost Dang family on the way. Taijima asked, "Why are you laughing all the time?" Did Madara say something embarrassing about the 9 llamas in the letter again? To be honest, Taijima couldn't figure out whether the relationship between the tailed beasts was good or bad. The letters Madara sent back before always contained information about which tailed beast Kurama was fighting with. Xing Shura put the letter away solemnly. "No, Uncle Madara is telling me some tips on going out. This is a reflection of his family's love for him." However, Anjuro recalled the scene when his uncle went out to do a mission for the first time when he was a child, and he always felt that if he went out, he would probably encounter Uncle Madara, who passed by forcibly on the road. "Oh." Taijima stood up to leave. When he was about to walk out of the door, He pretended to be casual and said, "You will set off with King and the others in a week." Great! The next day, the friends who got the news blocked the door of the clan leader's house. "Kyojuro, you are going out to do a mission. Go wherever you want. Uchiha Jin is going to the capital with his mother to the land of lightning. I want to go too. Why can't I go with you?" Uchiha Shui received the mission to go to Ishikawa Castle. "I want beautiful souvenirs. I want next year." Uchiha Yu is a few months younger than them and is simply considered a year younger child by the clan Kyojuro. "Remember to miss us. Are there any specialties in the land of lightning?" They talked a lot, envious of Kyojuro for being able to leave the clan and become an adult, and wanted to go with Kyojuro. In the end, they stayed at the clan leader's house for lunch and squeezed together with Kyojuro to take a nap before leaving. How he joked, "Well, my son is really popular. He will definitely not have to worry about finding a wife in the future." A week later, everyone set out from Uchiha. Although the current Uchiha no longer accepts missions, they still have to take their children out to broaden their horizons. Fortunately, there are many caravans in the tribe, and each team only has one child. The leaders are all 3 Magatama and Mangekyo masters who have retired from the battlefield before. Although they may encounter twists and turns, they will never worry about their lives. Kyojuro followed the caravan, led by Uchiha King. The first mission that Izuna did was also led by Uchiha King, but before, he was a guard for others, and now he is guarding Uchiha's own things. This time, they went to the land of lightning in order to send the 6th elder what he needs. They don't know what it is. The things were packed by the people in the agricultural department and Grandma Keiko, and when they were handed over to them, there was only a large scroll. In addition, there are regular pea flour and corn grits, and Mrs. Mikiko's cabbage and corn soup recipe must be delivered to the Uchiha in the land of lightning. When Kyojuro arrives there, he may need to summon a few special plants. When he just left the clan, Kyojuro was quite excited. After all, he has been in this world for 6 years. Except for the time when he was taken to Grandma Cat's house by his uncle, he has never left the clan. The time to the cave of Kurama does not count. After all, it has been circled by Uchiha as his own territory. There are several carriages in the caravan, and the speed of travel is not slow. Kyojuro looked around curiously for the whole morning. King teased him. "Aren't you tired of watching it for a whole morning?" No, it was the spring plowing season, and Kyojuro saw hardworking farmers everywhere, full of vitality. He would never get tired of this scene, no matter when. At noon, everyone found a place with water to rest. There was also a small shed and stove built by Uchiha before. After all, this road is a common one, and the tribe has figured out which places are suitable for rest. Other caravans can rest here, but they must clean up before leaving. The Uchiha people skillfully made a fire and cooked. The lunch with a picnic feeling made Kyojuro once again feel the attentiveness and strength of the tribe. Even such a place can be considered. Anyone who has used this place will be grateful to the Uchiha. On the 4th day after leaving the tribe, they officially left the scope of the village and entered the wilderness. Before, they could pass by cultivated fields, but after that, they could only see weeds. "We are almost at the border. Be careful." Uchiha King reminded the team members and began to teach Kyojuro. "There are only grass and shorter shrubs on the land here, which means that this should have been a village before, and the land was also cultivated, but it was abandoned because of the war. Even though the country has been much more peaceful in recent years, the scattered villagers have not returned. It is estimated that they all stayed in the local area to continue to reproduce." Kyojuro sighed, which made Uchiha Ao laugh. "You are so young. Why are you sighing like an old man?" Kyojuro felt a little blocked in his heart. It should be because he was sighing for the abandoned village, or maybe there was something else, but he himself couldn't figure it out. It would be great if they could be like the clan. The big Uchiha driving next to him also laughed. "Kyojuro, little guy, you think too simply. Not to mention being as good as the Uchiha. Even the village we passed by yesterday is considered to be relatively good in the country. When you go abroad, they're more like today." Why? Kyojuro really didn't understand. Their Rengoku has always been a retainer of the Ubuyashiki clan, and has always been focused on slaying demons. Even though they know that the domestic regime changes back and forth, they are not personally involved and do not have a deep understanding. Not to mention his generation of Rengoku. The country has been peaceful for a long time, and he has long forgotten what war is. Daish was after the Meiji Restoration. Since the Meiji Restoration, the Meiji Emperor of Japan organized the anti-shogun forces to defeat the Tokugawa shogunate and established a unified, centralized country, which removed obstacles for the development of capitalism. The Japanese mainland as a whole entered a period of peaceful development, and the war was directed outside the island. By the time Kyojuro was born, the Japanese mainland had been peaceful for nearly 40 years. Uchiha King's tone was full of pride. Because the Uchiha is strong, only the strong can control their own destiny. After he glanced at Xingjiang's blank eyes, he changed his explanation. Because our clan can fight, no one will dare to invade our clan territory, so the clan territory could develop with peace of mind. If we were weaker, we would be forced to wander around. Understood. Xingjiang frowned. Maybe? Ha ha ha. It's okay if you don't understand. You're still young. Uchiha Ao patted Andrew's head and changed the subject. We'll soon enter the country of fields. There aren't as many trees there as at home, but there's a special kind of straw weaving craft. Maybe you can encounter it later. Not long after, several people crossed the border and entered the kingdom of Tion. As soon as he entered, Anjuro was keenly aware of the difference between the kingdom of fields and the kingdom of fire. There were low hills within his sight. Although there were trees, they were not as tall as the trees in the kingdom of fire. The woods on the roadside were sparse, and there seemed to be a few figures passing by. Anjuro quickly told Uchiha Ao that he had found someone. Before Uchiha Ao could say anything, the Uchiha who was driving the car made a strange sound. Little guy, you have good observation skills. Uchiha Ao said comfortingly, relax, it's okay. We are all acquaintances. As soon as he finished speaking, the caravan was stopped. The man holding the machete got closer and saw the Uchiha family crest engraved on the frame of the bicycle, as well as the pairs of scarlet Sharingan eyes in the team. He bowed with a smile and waved to signal the people around him to disperse. Uchiha Ao didn't get out of the car. He reached out and took out a money bag from his arms and asked the tribesmen to unload a bag of pea powder from the frame of the car and threw them to the other party. The person who had collected the things stood there and waved to the caravan. Xingjiang looked back and saw that they still seemed to be smiling. Uncle King, what were those just now? Uchiha, who was driving the car, threatened, they are robbers who are robbing people on the road. Are you afraid of Anjuro? Xingjiang shook his head. I'm not afraid. But why? Is this the first time I've seen Xingjiang be so polite? The robbers he met in the previous life all consciously let him go as soon as they saw the knife in his hand and the aura of a practicing master. But they won't let the caravan go. Why do you give money and food? This can be regarded as convenient for all walks of life. They didn't stop us, so we have to let them earn some money. After all, they usually maintain this road. Uchiha, who was on his way, interrupted. I mean, Brother King, Xingjiang is asking why they let us go so easily. Of course, it's because they can't beat us. He tilted his head and showed his Sharingan. There are only a dozen pairs of Sharingan in our team, and the Sun just don't dare to fight us head on. They are just ordinary people with some strength, and of course they don't dare. Chapter 32, the Kingdom of Tion and the Kingdom of Thunder. Oh, Anjuro understood again. Only the strong can decide their own destiny. Turning his head, he remembered another sentence said by Uchiha. Oh, they maintain. Yes, the nobles will not use this kind of border road. It is impossible for the nobles and daimyo of Tion country to pay for the construction and maintenance. They occupy this road and rob passers-by. Naturally, they must maintain this road well. Otherwise, if no one leaves, they will starve to death. Can't you farm? After crossing the border, other Uchiha, who were close to each other in the caravan, also joined. Ha ha ha. Xingjiang, this is the country of fields. Although the name has fields, all the fields in this country belong to the big nobles. How can these people farm if they don't have land? They either sell themselves into slavery or become bandits. Uchiha Ao handed him a piece of gold flat candy soothingly. thinking that he asked these questions because he was a little scared when he met the robber just now. Don't worry, the Uchiha won't be robbed. Businessmen who have a good relationship with our family will also engrave the Uchiha family crest on their bicycle frames. Like us, they will leave a small amount of money and food after they are released. Why do you think they would rather give gifts to our family than take the same transportation route as ours? It's not just to gain the reputation of Uchiha. After all, if they take an unfamiliar road by themselves, it will be a trivial matter if their money and food are looted. It is more likely that both people and money will be lost. Uchiha AO slightly modified his wording. On this road is the group just now, which can be regarded as the largest gang of robbers in the Kingdom of Tion. They firmly occupy the road from the Kingdom of Fire to the Kingdom of Tion. It was Uchiha who went to their hometown to have a good relationship with them. After talking to each other, we established this mutually beneficial habit. The road they're taking now is certainly not the kind of official road that envoys from the two countries would take. That kind of official road needs to pass through the city that is tightly controlled by various local officials. Every time they pass a checkpoint, the carriage will be opened. After an inspection, you have to give benefits to local officials to preserve the goods. Anyway, the Uchiha family doesn't need to rely on official roads to protect the people and property of the caravan. Of course, if you take this country road, you won't be afraid even if you encounter robbers. Like those who are sensible just now, they will naturally not kill everyone. If they encounter someone who doesn't make sense, they will kill them directly. Presumably, if they dare to come out to do such a thing, they have already prepared for the possibility of being killed at any time. Of course, you definitely shouldn't talk about it in such a bloody way with children. As for why they're the only group of biggest robbers left, it cannot be said. We don't have to do anything which saves time, energy, and wasted weapons. Other caravans on this road have recognized the agreed habits. The group of robbers can also get money and food without losing lives. Even because this road is safer, they can take it there are more caravans. Although they take less at one time, they can basically get it every day. In total, they can get more money and food than what they robbed before. Uchiha Ao broke it and crushed it into pieces to explain to Anjuro. In this world, as long as you can survive, who is willing to risk your life? They were reluctant at first, but within 3 months, they saw the benefits and started begging us to continue on their path. Anjuro saw the cruelty of this world for the first time. It turned out that not only ninjas, but also everyone was dying. Is this the case in the Fire Country as well? There are some in the Fire Country, but they are few. Such things are rare in big countries. After all, these robbers are considered strong laborers. The daimyo will not just watch their land being snatched away by the nobles and watch their agricultural taxes decrease. Uchiha, who came to change the guard at the side, interrupted, "Most of the land in our land of fire is in the hands of the daimyo. It is given to farmers for farming, and the farmers pay taxes to him. Refer to the Debeo Ritsu. For details, see the speech." Furthermore, the Kingdom of Fire treats nobles and bureaucrats more strictly than other countries. Of course, it is still not as good as the Kingdom of Thunder. The Kingdom of Thunder is really incompetent and will be executed immediately. I'm going too far. The nobles and officials in our country are, although the daimyo would also give them fields, they were also divided into position fields, job fields, and merit fields according to the circumstances. Zingjuro, would you like to guess what situations these fields are for? This. It's not a strong point. Zingshura could only hold his chin and think hard. The title field is divided according to the rank of the nobles. The job field should be based on the official position, and the merit field is divided according to the merit. Although it is a bit general, it still captures the core. He is indeed the great treasure of the clan. After boasting about Anjuro in his heart, Uchiha began to explain. The title fields are given to more than 5 nobles and cannot be hereditary or handled by oneself. The title fields can only be occupied during the period of office and will be returned to the country after resigning or death. The merit fields are graded and can be passed on to the great-grandson, grandson, or son of the great hero, depending on the situation. Refer to Debeo law order. Understood, the land in the hands of the nobles has a time limit. The daimyo will send people to check the land in the hands of the nobles every once in a while. Once any illegal fields are found, all land will be taken back. Uchiha Ao finally concluded. In general, it is a virtuous circle. The robbers who have been mentioned repeatedly in the topics of Uchiha are also murmuring. What happened to Uchiha today? When I looked over just now, my heart stopped. Normally, there were only 4 or 5 pairs of Sharingan at most, but today, not to mention more than a dozen pairs. There was also an extra headband with such complicated patterns that he felt dizzy just by looking at it. Third Master, do you think the things they transported this time are particularly valuable? Should we? The younger brother made a gesture. Bang! If you want to die, go yourself. You think your life is too long, don't you? The third master cursed loudly and was most annoyed by this stupid young man who couldn't understand how much he weighed. Go, lay an ambush nearby. Uchiha has just passed by today, and there must be other caravans following behind, so be smart. Okay, boss. You can think of this group of robbers as a low-end version of the XX gang, and the Kingdom of Tian is their territory. They were about to enter the Kingdom of Thunder. The caravan temporarily stopped to rest, and everyone changed into clothes more suitable for the climate here. Although the adult Uchiha can tolerate the cold, if he can dress warmly, no one will refuse. As for Xingjiang, he was wrapped tightly in the clothes King Yong brought. Were more clothes. The temperature here in March and April is similar to our winter temperature. Although it doesn't snow, it's still chilly. Anjuro struggled to observe the surrounding environment through the gaps in his clothes and hat. From the national border, everything he could see in front of him were mountains, cliffs, and cliffs. It's almost April, but green is rarely seen, and the entire color palette is gray, white, and black. Uncle King, are the lands of thunder all mountains? No, their daimyo live in the basin, but only daimyo and officials can live there. Our family also lives in the mountains. Xingjiang said, full of expectations for what he would see and hear next. He hasn't been to the snowy mountains yet. This world is so magical. Every country is distinct. On the other side, Uchiha Hirohiko anxiously walked around the clan grounds. The young Uchiha Erasure, who was assigned to study by the clan leader, followed with his eyes for only a few circles before feeling dizzy. Master Boyan, what are you so anxious about? Ever since Mr. Boyan received the letter from the south a week ago, he has been in a state of excitement and anxiety. Occasionally, when he got excited, he would pull the randomly caught Uchiha and talk nonstop. It's even worse these days. I can't even sit still. Counting the time, Anjuro should have entered the Kingdom of Thunder. Why hasn't anyone sent a message yet? Could it be that the tribesmen on the other side of the border didn't notice? No way. The training of Uchiha here is already so rubbish. Boyan didn't hear Lan's question at all and continued to frown, spinning around and falling into his own world. Master Boyan, someone is coming from the south. Uchiha Arashi's eyes were blurred, and her long hair at the temples was blown all over her face by the wind. When she opened her eyes again, Boyan in the yard had disappeared. Master Boyan, wait for me. The Kingdom of Thunder is mountainous, and the original carriage was not convenient. They divided their troops into 2 teams. One team protected Xingshoulang and rushed to the clan area with easy-to-carry things. The other team set up carriages and horses carrying heavy loads. Things moved slowly. The brisk team hurried along with their feet, running from morning to afternoon, climbing over countless hills, and finally arrived at the Uchiha clan in the Land of Thunder before dark. Xingjiang looked from a distance and felt that the houses here were extremely tall and seemed to have several floors. When he got closer, he realized that they were all bungalows built on a platform on the side of the mountain. Anjuro! Uchiha Hirohiko opened his arms from a distance and ran towards Anjuro excitedly. Master! Seeing the master he hadn't seen for more than half a year, Anjuro ran over excitedly, transformed into a cannonball, and rushed directly into Uchiha Hirohiko's arms. Mua, have you missed Master? Yes. Master, I miss you so much. Master misses Xingshura very much. With a big smile on his face, Boyan picked up Xingjiang and held him up high. Then he simply carried Xingjiang and walked to the clan's territory. Uchiha Ken looked oblivious, and he and Uchiha Ao went to a place where they couldn't hear the master and disciple's thoughts. It makes people's teeth ache. Uchiha Erashur, who came out immediately behind Uchiha Hirohiko, seemed to have been struck by lightning, and his mind went blank. Who was the person who smiled so brightly just now, with the background filled with pink flowers? Who is it? She walked back in a daze, relying on instinct, and almost missed the step and fell down the mountain, but Boyan caught her, and then she turned over and kicked off the mountain wall, landing on the platform again. Zenjuro pushed up his hat and looked at this strange tribesman. He had a typical Uchiha oval face and big cat eyes. He was wearing a short coat here, and his smooth black hair was combed into a high ponytail. He looked heroic. Uchiha Erashur, in terms of seniority, she should be, forget it, just call her Erashur's sister. Hello, Sister Lon. Oh, hello, brother. Uchiha Erashur was so excited. Oh my god, she could actually see such a cute and well-behaved little Uchiha in the clan. Isn't the south a paradise? Come to your senses. Boyan is obviously very clear about the shortcomings of this cheap apprentice who was tricked by Ken Uchiha into being habitually distracted. She obviously has good strength and skills, but she just looks a bit stupid, which makes the clan reluctant to let her out, so they can only put her in his place to see if she can learn something that doesn't involve dealing with people. Uchiha Hirohiko took another sip of his cute and adorable disciple. Anjuro is better. What did you eat on the way? Did you encounter anything interesting? Was it too cold when you came to the Kingdom of Thunder? Where do you want to go? Anjuro answered one by one, and then asked, Master, have you had a good meal here? Are you tired? I'm not tired. I'm just talking. Your sister Lon helps me with my work. How many days will Zenjuro stay here? I don't know. It depends on Uncle King. Master, I want to go see the snowy mountains. Do you have time? Of course. There are snow-capped mountains not far behind our clan. When the time comes, Master will drive Susan to take you to enjoy the snow scenery. Susanna is used to comfort children. Uchiha Erashur shouted silently in his heart. Returning to the house where Boyan currently lives, the temperature has risen significantly. Xingjiang immediately saw the heating formation carved on the wall, as well as a huge bathtub filled with soil in the corner. As he unbuttoned his thick coat, he asked the master, Master, have you started planting corn? Boyan conveniently hung Xingjiang's coat on the hanger. Xingjiang is so smart, he actually guessed that the master is breeding. You haven't seen how to grow corn, have you? Well, Master said we have to hurry up, and I won't be around during the breeding. It was Boyan who left first with a basket of corn kernels, while Anjuro stayed at home to watch Mikiko and Ling study how to eat corn. Boyan immediately changed the topic with a guilty conscience. Does Xingqiu Lang want to see what the corn kernels look like now? 1. Uchiha Hirohiko gently removed the top layer of soil in the basin. The contents in the basin were all small corn kernels produced after the corn pitcher summoned by Anjuro was sown and matured. Normal size, the corn kernels of the corn pitcher are too big. It is impossible to take out the Uchiha without handling them. Xingqiu Lang found that the corn kernels in the pot had grown roots. Master, there are white tips. Are they their roots? Yes, Anjuro is really smart. It's such a cold weather. If you plant them, won't they freeze to death? Although we feel cold, the land is ready. It's April, and we can plant seeds tomorrow. Do you want to plant it in the clan land? Ha. No. The Kingdom of Thunder has designated a relatively fertile land for us, and the corn will be planted there. In fact, it was because various families were competing for the right to test corn planting, and some people made trouble in front of the daimyo. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Thunder was so annoyed that he simply designated a piece of the royal field as a test field. Daimyo of the Kingdom of Thunder, I'm so annoyed. I'm going to make all of you unhappy. Chapter 33, Corn and Cabbage. After seeing the corn seeds, Uchiha Hirohiko asked about the plants Anjuro summoned this year. Although the letter sent to him from the clan showed the appearance of cabbage, the cabbage pitcher did not reveal anything about it. After all, this living plant is so special that it doesn't look like a normal plant that can be cultivated by ordinary people using ordinary methods. Master, this is delicious. It doesn't have the bitter taste of vegetables. It's crunchy. Anjuro summoned a cabbage pitcher in the house, and tried to give his master Amway such a delicious and easy-to-prepare dish. Boyan walked around it and observed it for a long time, then moved out the target and caught a thrown cabbage, peeling off the leaves layer by layer to observe. He asked, "Zingjuro, how do you think cabbage should be grown?" Sitting cross-legged on the floor, heating unique to the land of thunder, Anjuro replied, "There must be seeds." He had thought about this issue for a long time, but it was a pity that the uncles and aunts in the agricultural department who were currently staying in the Fire Nation clan were very busy, and no one discussed it with him. I asked the village aunt who works in a mill. She used to grow leaf-eating grass in the fields of nobles. She told me that these leaf-eating vegetables need seeds. I don't think you can grow cabbage just by relying on the cabbage pitcher. Could it be that, like the pea shooter, the body will gradually wither in winter, leaving behind seeds that can be sown? Zingjuro, you are really talented. The sixth elder happily circled Xingsholang. I have a successor. He has high affinity, strong observation skills, and is willing to study how to grow different plants on his own. That boy, how he did such a beautiful job. 3 days later, Xingjiang followed Boyan and the guarding tribesmen to the experimental field of the Kingdom of Thunder. The temperature in the experimental field was indeed higher than in the mountains. The sixth elder made a brief judgment and said, "It's time to sow seeds." The serfs of the daimyo of the Kingdom of Thunder who were standing by immediately spread out and skillfully dug small holes in the land. Xingjiang followed Boyan, who patiently explained to him the essentials of sowing. For this small pit, you need to dig a finger's depth. Put 2 seeds in each small pit, and then sprinkle a thin layer of soil on top to prevent the seeds from being exposed to the air. The air in the Kingdom of Thunder is too dry and may cause damage to the seeds. Seeds lose their moisture. From the moment you plant the seeds, you need to determine how much water to use based on the soil conditions. Corn needs water very much. Have you seen that person? Boyan pointed to a person and introduced, "That is the daimyo's guardian Nin, who is good at water escape. He was sent here this time to guard these corn seeds and water them at any time." "Master, are there many water escape ninjas in the Kingdom of Thunder? Shouldn't there be more thunder escape ninjas in the Kingdom of Thunder?" Anjuro always thought that the ninja attributes of the 5 major countries matched their countries. For example, when he was a child, he always believed that the fire country were all fire-bending ninjas like the Uchiha. When he grew older, he realized that the Uchiha were outsiders, and most of the native ninjas in the fire country had the attributes of water and earth. But the Kingdom of Water is full of water-type ninjas, as well as mutated ice-type ninjas. Yu from the Kingdom of Thunder was indeed as he thought. Most of them had thunder attributes, and even had lightning resistance. Their bodies were so strong that they could withstand thunder alone. Uchiha Hirohiko explained, "Ninjas native to the Kingdom of Thunder are all thunder fires. A lot of our Uchiha clan members have thunder attribute chakra. However, this place is close to the Kingdom of Water, and there's always chaos there. Some ninjas simply run away. I came here to settle down, get married, and have children, and my bloodline has stayed in the Kingdom of Thunder. So there are quite a few waterbending ninjas in the Kingdom of Thunder. There's a Tianyin family here that specializes in collecting desperate wandering ninjas. They don't look at bloodline, only faith. Their family has the most water escape ninjas. The guardian ninja I told you just now is from the Tianyin family. Is there an Uchiha among the guardian ninjas?" Boyan tapped his apprentice's little head. "Don't talk nonsense. We Uchiha are businessmen, future landlords. How can we become guardian nins? The mothers of the daimyo of the Land of Thunder are all women from Uchiha. Uchiha does not need the identity of guardian ninja to maintain the connection with the daimyo. Moreover, since the entire clan moved to the country of fire, the only remaining clan members here are old men and ladies who are unwilling to leave their homeland, and a bunch of people who have spread their branches and leaves in various industries, and their bloodline has been diluted to the point where the tribesmen who can no longer open their eyes, their vendors walking around the streets, they're knowledgeable scholars, there are knife forgers with rough hands, and there are noble ladies with fingers like peeling onions. The Uchiha of the Land of Thunder are no longer a simple ninja family. Compared to the Uchiha of the Fire Country, Those in his hometown should have made a smooth transition. Except for the fact that the Uchiha surname is still passed down, there is not much left. After the South and North were reconnected, Uchiha Taijima specially sent a team of about 40-year-old Uchihas who still had the impression of their hometown to come back and help the North reorganize the clan. The area of Uchiha's old tribe is too large. The tribesmen in the North have gradually shrunk in recent years, and a lot of the outer areas of the old tribe have been occupied by wandering ninjas. After this team of masters who had been fighting for many years in the Land of Fire returned to their hometown, they swept through several mountains like a whirlwind, giving these ninjas from the Land of Thunder a wake-up call who had forgotten the terrifying legend of the Sharingan. After the idlers were cleared out, the Uchiha team summoned the Ninja Cats and Ninja Bird from the clan to explore all the old clan lands bit by bit. The messy seal arrays and barriers left by the outsiders were all destroyed and replaced with Uchiha's arrays and barriers. After that, they dared to send the products of Kyojuro's special plants. The Uchiha team also stayed in the Land of Lightning as a contact person. Fortunately, after the South stopped accepting missions, the death rate of the tribe dropped to the lowest level. Even if this team of masters was separated, it would not affect Taijima's subsequent plans. Uchiha can also summon back many tribesmen who were wandering outside. After being checked by the Sharingan, they also moved back to the tribe. Seeing that the seeds were planted, Uchiha Boyan said hello to the guardian ninja and walked back with the tribesmen. The more he showed that this batch of seeds was left to the daimyo of the Land of Lightning, the more free he could act here. Today's mission is over. What do you want to eat? Master will make you the soup that Mikiko made. How about that? Okay. King said yesterday that you will leave the day after tomorrow. Have you decided on the route back? Yes. We will take a boat back from the Land of Water. Maybe we can meet Uncle Madara. Madara? Isn't he playing with the two-tailed fox in the Land of Thunder? Uncle Madara wrote this morning saying that he went to the Land of Water. Because Kurama wanted to eat sea fish, he wanted to ask the three-tailed fox for some scales as a souvenir. A round thing followed them in the pile of rocks nearby. It was because it ran out to watch the fun after hearing the sound, and it was also quietly shrinking to fish in troubled waters and sneak into the eight-tailed fox of Uchiha, the Uchiha. The Uchiha touched his non-existent chin with a tentacle, thinking this is the special child that Kurama mentioned before. It is really special. One day, I can actually see Indra and Ashura being good friends. It seems that if you live long enough, you may see everything. I don't know if it's because they have been in the thundercloud for too long, but the eight-tailed Ishiki and the two-tailed Matatabi are the two most gossipy among the nine-tailed beasts. Especially the Ishiki, not only gossiping himself, but also keen to spread the gossip he has seen and heard, and even make up a jingle to make the gossip spread more widely. If it were in modern times, it would be a good seedling for marketing accounts, and the eight tentacles would be convenient for typing. When Uchiha Madara challenged the strong man of the Night Moon family in the Land of Lightning, the Ushiki could not suppress his gossipy instinct, so he quietly ran to the scene to watch, and was immediately caught by Kurama. He still remembers that when facing a group of black-skinned Night Moons at least 2 meters tall, Uchiha Madara, who was wearing the blue family uniform of the Uchiha clan, his long black hair danced with frantic chakra, revealing a pair of scarlet kaleidoscopes. I'm not targeting anyone in particular, but all of you are garbage in my eyes. The eight tails trembled all over when he recalled Uchiha Madara again. Help! Indra's PTSD has come back again. How can the reincarnation of Indra in this life be so similar to Indra himself? Luckily, he is also a fur control. Uchiha Madara walked away in disgust after finding that he had no hair. Luckily, fortunately, seeing that the Uchiha in front of him accelerated his pace, the cow ghost simply retracted all his tentacles and rolled up into a ball. Gurgle running is not as fast as rolling. The big Uchiha looked sharply in the direction of the sound, but found nothing. The cow ghost deliberately avoided the Uchiha patrol team and found a gap in the corner of the wall to slip into the Uchiha clan. He wanted to go directly to the special little Uchiha's room to take a closer look at the little doll. But as soon as he passed the kitchen, he was attracted by a sweet, milky smell. Just take a look, there shouldn't be any problem. The cow ghost easily convinced himself and drank all the remaining corn cabbage soup directly. Burp, is this the new plant they planted? It's quite delicious. After he ate and drank enough, it seemed that his red skin was stained with a hint of milky white. He was satisfied and followed the wall to get into the little Uchiha's room. The cow ghost thought very beautifully. Even if he was discovered at that time, as long as he showed his identity as a tailed beast, the little doll would definitely not dare to make a sound, and maybe he could even take out more delicious food to treat him. Slurp, the cow ghost raised his tentacles and wiped his saliva. Boom! What is that? The cow ghost instantly raised his tentacles and caught the thing that was thrown in the air. He turned his head to look in the direction of the attack, but only found, hey, vegetable? It can still move. Wow, isn't this the Uchiha's yard? How come there are those weird plants with wood release? A pair of hands suddenly picked him up from behind, and Ushiki turned back confidently, showing his most handsome smile. Hi. Kyojuro blinked. Hello, Mr. Ushiki. He raised his hand to stop the next round of attacks from the cabbage pitcher. Ushiki was shocked. Wow, this kid can use wood release. This is a big melon. Is it that Uchiha cheated or that Senju committed a crime? Ushiki. Today we must find out the ins and outs of this matter. Ushiki excitedly tossed the cabbage between his 8 tentacles. Eat melon by melon, fresh melon, hey. Eat melon by melon, fresh melon. Kyojuro clapped his hands very enthusiastically. Mr. Nyogue, are you here to see me? Gyuki smoothly threw the cabbage onto the windowsill and lay peacefully in Anjuro's arms and asked, Nine Llama even told you this. I am. How about it? Do you want to go out and play with me? It's better to tell him about their parents' love again. Anjuro looked at Ushiyuki's shrunken and extremely elastic body, which even swayed slightly as he spoke. Good, I want to eat octopus balls. Mr. Nyogue, let me treat you to something delicious. There's also something delicious. Nyogue immediately abandoned the gossip he was just thinking about and nodded hurriedly, fearing that Xingjiang would forget his share. This can't be blamed on the fact that tailed beasts are all foodies. After all, they have lived for so many years, and they only sleep and fight. The food made by humans is rare and unpalatable. It is not easy to come across dishes that suit the taste of tailed beasts, and I'm a little bit greedy. And it is natural. Besides, he's not the most greedy. Nyogue thought if it were Shikaku's place, he would eat up everything edible in the clan's land, even chewing down 2 meters of the turf on the top of the mountain. Xingjiang hugged Daguki and searched everywhere in the clan for what he needed. Octopus legs? Take it away. Iron plate? Use it to make some nests for the uncles at the forge. Walnut oil? Take it away. Flour? Take it away. Finally, take out a cabbage from the weapon spoon on the head of the cabbage thrower. Apparently, Anjuro had something in his arms that no one in the clan had ever seen, and the clan members quickly reported it to the 6th elder and Uchiha Ken. The two happened to be discussing something, and after hearing about it, they rushed to where Anjuro was. Even though Uchiyuki had shrunk himself and suppressed his chakra to a minimum, Uchiha Hirohiko had seen Kyubi, and he recognized at a glance that this round, smooth, red and purple thing was also a tail. Beast. When did Uchiha become attracted to tailed beasts? Uchiha Hirohiko calmly deceived Uchiha Takaru, who had not yet recognized Uchiha, and started educating him after closing the door. Of course, it is impossible to educate one's own disciples who are obedient and considerate, talented and kind, full of energy and energetic like a little sun every day. Instead, educate this rude and ugly-tailed beast who inexplicably breaks into other people's homes. Looking at the kaleidoscope close at hand, Nyogue swallowed his saliva and felt a little guilty. I really want to bypass the parents to find the children. It seems, probably, maybe, it pissed off the big Uchiha in front of me. That master, can you help me? Please. Uchiha Hirohiko put away his Sharingan for a second and returned to his original gentle appearance. Okay, has Xingjiang thought of any novel food? Chapter 34 Octopus Dumplings. Cook the octopus legs first. Looking at the purple-red octopus legs in the pot, and looking at the ignorant 8 tails, Uchiha Boyan was happy. No wonder Anjuro suddenly thought of new food. Cut the cooked octopus legs into small pieces and cut the cabbage into small pieces. Uchiha Hirohiko took over this part. With a flash of the knife, the ingredients decomposed instantly. Anjuro poured flour, eggs, water, and a little salt into the basin and asked Nyogue to help mix the batter. He put the iron plate with the round nests on the fire, brushed it all with a layer of oil, then poured the batter mixed by Nyogue into the round nests, and placed sliced octopus legs and sliced octopus legs in each nest. Cabbage. After waiting for a while, use a bamboo skewer to score the edges of each hole, gather the edges, and use the bamboo skewer to roll the material while stuffing it in. Finally, pour a little batter and slowly roll it into a golden ball. Nyogue looked on in shock. Wait a minute, kid. How did you roll it into a ball? Do it again. Do it again. I don't understand. Okay, Nyogue, do you want to get a try? Ushiki took the bamboo stick handed over by Anjuro and repeated his movements, picking up the dough balls in the nest little by little. Oh, it's really a ball. Uchiha Hirohiko looked at the 8-tailed tentacles that had fallen on the iron plate and silently noted the characteristics of the 8-tailed ones, not afraid of high temperatures. Finally, Anjuro put all the balls on the plate and poured the sauce on them. You're done. Nyogue took the lead and rolled up a small ball and threw it into his mouth. Hot, hot, hot. Tasty. Wow, this tastes amazing. Uchiha Hirohiko poured honey on the small ball and tasted it carefully. The octopus legs are chewy, the cabbage provides sweetness, and the batter is soft and glutinous. Kid, you are so awesome. Ushiyuki stretched out his tentacles, and the two brothers patted Anjuro on the shoulders. If there's anything you want, I'll help you get it all. Smile with confidence. Anjuro poked the horn on the head of the cow ghost that he always cared about. The body is obviously that of an octopus, but why is the head a bull's head? Obviously, Giolama looks like an ordinary fox. I want to be friends with Mr. Nyogue. The 8 tentacles of Nyogue bloom instantly. The whole-tailed beast was directly stuck on Anjuro's face. Ha 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 ha. I like you too, baby. We are friends from today. Hey, Jalama, this pet. Let's see how he dares to sneer in front of me next time. The 8 tails that smiled evilly were torn off by Hirohiko from Anjuro's face. He was not annoyed and said boldly, I heard that you're going back to the land of fire soon. It's too late this time. You can come again next time, and I'll entertain my dear. Anjuro held Ushiyuki's tentacles and swayed according to his frequency. Okay, then how can I contact you? Ushiki thought for a moment, then cut off a section of the tentacle and handed it to Shinjuru. To shout my name to it. Don't worry, Kingdom of Thunder, I will protect you. Handsome and bright smile. Baby, brother is leaving. See you later. The 8 tentacles of Nyogue shrank, and the whole beast rolled into a ball and smashed it to the ground. Bang! Relying on the force of the rebound, he bounced directly onto the cliff outside the courtyard. After several bounces, he disappeared without a trace. Zinjuro turned over and over looking at the small tentacle in his hand, which was round and had a suction cup on it. A bit easy to pinch. Kyojuro doesn't want to sign a contract with the 8 tails. If Anjuro could choose the 8 tails as a psychic beast, he would not have to worry about his future personal safety. Anjuro laughed. Master, Mr. Nyogue prefers the Kingdom of Thunder. Although the clansmen of the Kingdom of Thunder are very reluctant to part with Shingdru, who is like a little son, the time has come, and it is time for him to return to the Kingdom of Fire. The route was slightly different from when they came here. They had to go to the port at the junction of the Kingdom of Thunder and the Kingdom of Water first. Uchiha Madara had something sent there, and they wanted to pick it up. I don't know what it is. Madara is mysterious. The big Uchiha on the team, who was familiar with Uchiha Madara, complained mercilessly. There's no way he robbed someone else's house. Let's run away with the stolen goods. How should I put it? The facts are not much different from what they thought. Uchiha Madara was fighting with the 3 tails, and he took off a lot of the gorgeous carapace from the 3 tails' tail. The fighting had already stopped, but his move instantly angered the 3 tails. Uchiha Madara could only ask Kurama to go to the dock to hand over the things to the clan members while he continued to fight with the three tails. Uchiha Madara. The shell of this turtle is quite beautiful, and the one on the tail actually changes color. I picked it up and made it into a necklace for my eldest nephew. Sanwei. I was pulled out of my sleep and beaten violently. I had already given in defeat, and yet I was bald. No. Indra reincarnated, he must be sick. Uchiha Ao repeatedly confirmed with Kurama, who came to give him a souvenir that the pile of armor he was holding in his hand was Uchiha Madara, who had plucked it from the three-tailed body. He immediately picked up Andrew and turned around with the whole team. Just run inland. Uchiha, I'm afraid. The young clan leader is too brave. We really can't compare. After everyone galloped for more than 10 kilometers, they confirmed that the shadow of the sea water was no longer visible. Then they felt relieved, slowed down, and prepared to rest for a while. Andrew, who has been lying on Uchiha Ao's back, is very used to this kind of long-distance running. But in the past, he was usually the one running. During the rest, everyone can appreciate the appearance of these armor plates. Wow, it's indeed something that the young patriarch would rather fight to get back. It's really pretty. This is the armor plate on the three-tailed tail. The color changing should be a convenient way to confuse the enemy during battle. Madara said he had no use in robbing this thing. Zingjuro, would you like to try a bracelet? This will look great strung with porcelain beads. Are you sure you can punch holes in Three Tails armor? Anjuro was originally admiring the wonderful patterns on the nails and the colors that changed with the angle, when suddenly he smelled a bit of blood on the tip of his nose. He pulled Uchiha Ao's sleeve. Uncle Ao, it smells of blood. Everyone immediately put away their light-hearted banter and looked around for anything suspicious. Found it. Okaha, who discovered the other party's traces, used the common hand gestures in his clan to notify his teammates. Everyone blocked Andrew behind them and slowly moved closer. The closer we get, the temperature nearby seems to get a lot lower. Ice escape ninja. Dai Uchiha shot out the kunai tentatively, but there was no reaction. Several people looked at each other, dispersed, and gathered around. But what was hiding in the bushes was not an ambush ninja, but a ragged child. The child's body was covered with ice crystals, and he fainted from the cold. They are now in the Kingdom of Grass, and the temperature is much higher than that of the Kingdom of Thunder. Logically speaking, people would not be frozen like this. Then there is the abnormal drop in the child's body temperature and the ice crystals on the other person's skin. This should be a child who has just awakened to ice escape. The older Uchiha who discovered the child used 3 Magatama to search the child's memory and then reported to Uchiha Ao. No abnormalities were found. He should be the illegitimate child of the Snow Clan and a foreign clan. He awakened the ice escape and was not tolerated. Uchiha Ao asked others to take care of Anjuro, and he stepped forward without any mercy and opened the kaleidoscope to search the other person's memory. In this world, one must be on guard. If there are any hints or talismans planted in this person's mind, it would be a big mistake to hurt Xingjiang. After several searches, nothing unusual was found. The big Uchiha next him asked, "What should I do? Do you want to take it back?" Uchiha Ao thought for a moment. First, he did not find anything wrong with the child's mind, and the memories revealed to him were consistent with the child's current state. Second, the clan seems to be launching a product related to ice. If the clan has an ice escaper, it will indeed provide better protection. Thirdly, this child has just awakened the ice escape, and he can already affect the surrounding environment and can even turn the moisture in contact with the skin into ice. He is extremely talented, and if it can be used by Uchiha, it can be regarded as a useful knife. After much thought, Uchiha Ao made up his mind and ordered 2 big Uchiha over. You take this child and return to the country of fire quickly. Don't go back directly to the clan area. Notify the clan members from the intelligence department to come out and carefully check the child outside the clan area to determine if there is anything wrong. Yes, to the other great Uchiha. He had other tasks to entrust to him. Uchiha Ao directly passed on the memory of the child he had just discovered to the other party. You follow the place in the child's memory and check carefully to see if it matches the memory. If there is anything wrong, send a message back immediately. Although Anjuro, who had always been separated by several people, tried his best to hear the conversations of the clan members. The distance was too far. In addition, the large Uchiha mostly used gestures and words together, so he could hear very little information. Phew, I can only roughly guess that Uncle King and the others seem to have picked up someone. After Uchiha Ao returned to him, Enjuro couldn't help but ask, Uncle King, how is that person doing? Ao continued following Enjuro's words, without revealing that what they picked up was a child. He is injured. He needs to be sent to a nearby medical center first. We will return to the clan first. The uncle who stayed behind will take care of him. Seeing that Uchiha Ao's expression was not tense or serious, Enjuro judged that the person they just picked up was not a threat to the entire caravan. He was very weak and was most likely an ordinary person. He asked, is he seriously injured? I have the medicine that Grandpa Shintai asked me to bring. Can he drink it? Uchiha Ao smiled and rejected Enjuro's kindness and told a lie casually. The medicine must be right for the symptoms. The man himself was physically weak, and due to the climate change, he was overworked, so he fainted on the roadside and accidentally knocked his head. The fifth elder's medicine was for internal injuries. Xingqiang kept it himself. Good. Xingqiang put the potion bottle back into his small shoulder bag. He believed in the judgment of his tribe. Enjuro, Dad, Uncle Grandpa, Little Uncle, seeing that the scene that happened in the Kingdom of Thunder was about to be played out before his eyes, Okaha of the caravan immediately ran away. But they can understand. After all, Enjuro is so cute. Even they are reluctant to let this trip end, let alone the family members who spend time with Enjuro day and night. When the outsiders left, Uchiha Koichi performed a move on the spot. Secret skill, cry in 1 second. Enjuro hugged his family members one by one, hugging this one and hugging that one, and gave them the souvenirs he brought back from the Land of Thunder. Oh yes, there's also a souvenir from Uchiha Madara, the pile of 3-tailed armor pieces. I miss you guys so much. We miss you too. Did you have fun in the Land of Lightning this time? Did you climb the snowy mountains? Yes. Master drove Susano and took me there. It wasn't cold at all. Have you seen the black-skinned people of the Yue family? I saw one in the experimental field. They are really dark. By the way, Dad, I also made friends with Mr. Nyogue. This is the communicator he left for me. Looking at the small section of tentacle in Kyojuro's hand, several people were full of pride. Kyojuro is awesome. Nyogue has good vision. After returning to the tribe, Kyojuro started his fulfilling daily life again. Every day, he would check his special plants to see if they had any special requirements. He found that the tribe members had replanned the location and distribution of special plants in the fields, planting cabbage pitchers and corn pitchers together, and not far away were pea shooters and sunflowers. He opened the panel to ask the plants what suggestions they had for this arrangement. The sunflowers were still satisfied, as always, as long as there was sunshine and the handsome and beautiful faces of the Uchiha. The peas wanted to change places or move the sunflowers away. They felt that it was too hot next to the sunflowers. The cabbage pitchers wanted Kyojuro to summon the third brother quickly, so that their combination of 3 pitcher brothers would be complete. The corn pitchers said that although it was fun to chat with their younger brothers, they liked the green pea shooters more. It would be even better if they could hold hands in a field. Hey, don't you think the peas are very powerful? The world of plants is so complicated. Kyojuro didn't understand, but Kyojuro and the big Uchiha in charge of this place mentioned the corn's wish. The corn wants to be planted with the peas. No problem. Out of blind obedience to Kyojuro, the big Uchiha immediately called for people to swap the positions of the corn and the sunflowers. The clever big Uchiha also notified the people in the western experimental field to see if planting corn and peas together would increase the yield. Peas, corn, beans, rice. Kyojuro shuddered. In the summer, a strange-looking bucket was placed in the Uchiha store. It was an ice container made by the 3 elders based on the descriptions in the history books left by the family. It has a double-layer structure with wine, drinks, or fruits inside and ice outside, and there are air outlets around it. It can blow cold air and chill food. The fruit is also a kind of sweet crimson fruit that has never been seen in other places. Only those who have registered as members in the store can enjoy it for free. Others cannot buy it, even if they pay. Some people also had evil thoughts and secretly hid 1 or 2 remaining seeds. Chapter 35 Ice and Fire. The child picked up by the caravan was a child from the Snow Clan. She couldn't be called a child. She was already 12 years old. Yes, it's a girl. After Uchiha repeatedly investigated from all angles and confirmed that she was just an ice escape ninja with a tragic background and good talent, Uchiha accepted her. My name is Ling Long. The girl introduced herself. She had no objection to the Uchiha clan's repeated investigations, but was happy because of the solemnity. She knew that this was the first step to being accepted into the family. She wanted a roof over her head so badly. She never wanted to look back on those days when she was hiding from place to place, with no clothes on her body, no food to eat, like a rat crossing the street that everyone shouted to beat. Just living in the house provided by Uchiha, Ling Long felt uneasy. No matter how innocent her life experience was, if she could not bring benefits to Uchiha, why should Uchiha accept her as an outsider? On this day, Uchiha Ao took the blueprint and briefly explained the structure of the ice mirror to her, and then asked her to condense a palm-sized ice ball. It's easy. Uchiha Ao tested the hardness of the ice ball with a kunai, then cut the ice ball open and looked inside and asked, with such a big ice ball, how many can you condense at one time? 100. This is the limit that Ling Long can achieve if he exhausts all his chakra at once. I will definitely be able to condense it in the future. Very well. Your abilities are very useful. Uchiha Ao confirmed that Ling Long can condense ice balls, allowing her to serve as the source of ice in the ice mirror. But the ice mirror is filled with ice balls shot by Ice Pea Shooter, which melts slower and is colder. As for this little girl, the clan has other arrangements. Uchiha Ao interrupted her and left with a hickey. Just when Ling Long thought she was going to stay here and condense ice balls every day, she was sent back to the workshop near the Uchiha clan by Uchiha Ao. Nowadays, the number of workshops near the Uchiha family has expanded to 3, and each workshop is responsible for different things. The smaller mill built at the beginning was still responsible for pea flour, but the number of personnel was reduced by less than half. The second workshop built was larger and more confidential. The people inside were all selected from the pea mill and were responsible for the production of walnut oil and corn oil. The third workshop is larger than the first 2 workshops combined and is responsible for the continuous output of other processed products of corn. All the workers in the 3 workshops add up to nearly 500 people. Several nearby villages, and even people in the town who want to make a living gather here. Abandoned houses near the workshop were also reused, and workers spontaneously built more simple bungalows, where workers who did not want to waste time on the way back and forth would live here. Workers who have been promoted to the position of small managers can be assigned a former Uchiha house as their daily residence. Since these houses are closer to the Uchiha clan than the workshops, the workers began to think that people who lived closer to the Uchiha clan had more status. Ling Long looked at the busy mill in front of her and was a little at a loss. She didn't know what she could do. She was not strong enough and could not move the big stone mill with 2 or 3 people like the workers here. The big Uchiha in charge of this mill knocked the big bell hanging at the door. Stop what everyone is doing. This is a new member who joined the workshop. He is an ice escape ninja. As soon as she heard that her identity as an ice ninja was exposed in front of so many ordinary people, Ling Long reflexively wanted to run away. But when she saw the half-smiling expression on the face of Uchiha, who was speaking, she forced herself to calm down. Uchiha continued. He is responsible for making ice cubes in summer to help cool down the interior of the factory. He also ensures that you will not suffer from heat stroke in the bright sun like last year. Oh, thank you, Uchiha-sama. The workers cheered and clapped. Uchiha waved to her to say hello to everyone, and Ling Long pursed her lips shyly and smiled. Then the workers returned to their respective posts and continued working. Uchiha led Ling Long to the female manager of the mill. This kid lives next door to you. When you get off work, take him to check out the house. Yes, Uchiha-sama. The next day, Ling Long officially took up his post. She used the ice release ninjutsu to create large blocks of ice in the open space, which were carried by workers and placed in the 4 corners of the workshop. The workers who moved it were amazed. Even through their gloves, they could feel the chill from the ice. I didn't expect that we can also use ice. This is enjoyment only noble gentlemen can enjoy. Even a noble lord cannot hire a ninja just to use ice. Hey, my cousin's family said that the ice used by the noble gentlemen in the summer is the ice that farmers like us are sent to fish out from the freezing rivers in the north in winter and is stored underground until it is used in the summer. Then everything has to melt. Uchiha is still awesome. Such a little girl can actually make such big ice. That's an Uchiha ninja. Of course, he's powerful. Facing the admiration, envy, praise, and admiration of the workers, Ling Long felt a little dazed. It turns out, ice escape can bring happiness to people. The workers continued to chat about the various treatments they received at the Uchiha family workshop. Fortunately, I was the first one to sign up when the job was recruited. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the good life I have now. I asked a matchmaker to help me find a marriage partner. The girl's family originally disliked me for not having land, but when a matchmaker told me that I was working for the Uchiha family, the girl's family immediately agreed. That's right, I can have a free meal here every day, and I can take some food home at night. Even in the summer, the Uchiha masters still want to send ice to us peasants. And in the winter, the mill has a method called something to provide warmth. I really hope this kind of life can last forever. Maybe I can get a house in the workshop next year. I heard that the Uchiha family is recruiting again. Are they going to build a new workshop again? Really? Oh, then I have to go home and inform my sister-in-law. Working for the Uchiha U00, 3D Food Plus Shelter U00, 3D Good Life, Ling Long's mind has such an equation. This is also the consensus of all the workers working for the Uchiha. After about half a month, Ling Long has been working diligently in the corn mill. Although her job content is only to make ice cubes, she feels that just creating a few pieces of ice does not consume much physical strength. This makes her feel a little uneasy when eating at the Uchiha family, so she always does what she can, and at lunchtime, she will go to the kitchen of the mill in advance to help. After listening to the report from the person in charge, Uchiha King took Ling Long to the oil mill. The work of the oil mill is much more complicated than that of the mill. Ling Long could only see the workers using a long barrel machine with a crank to continuously squeeze oil. Uchiha King handed the person over to the person in charge of the oil mill. The big Uchiha briefly introduced Ling Long's work. Your task is to cool down these tools. Too high a temperature will damage the quality of the oil. There are only two requirements. 1. You must lower the temperature of the tools, and it must not affect the use of the tools. 2. You must not let the water melted from the ice mix in the oil. As for what to do specifically, think about it yourself. After that, the big Uchiha left. Ling Long thought about it. First, as in the mill, she also placed ice cubes at the four corners of the oil mill. Although the ambient temperature dropped, she was still burned when she reached out to touch the long tube of the tool. How to do this? Directly freeze on the tools. The workers who were disturbed by her work cooperated with Ling Long to try for the sake of the person in charge and the ice cubes provided by Ling Long. If it is directly frozen, when she withdraws the chakra, the ice will melt in the sunlight, and the water will naturally drip into the barrel below to collect oil. Moreover, this tool is a bit complicated. Ling Long found that if ice forms on the crank, the tool will be unusable. So the only way is to find a solution on the long tube. Ling Long thought of something that can disappear without a trace in the sunlight: frost. She controlled her chakra and cleverly controlled the temperature. After trying several times, she finally succeeded in condensing a layer of white frost on the long tube. Then she withdrew her chakra, and the frost disappeared directly under the sunlight without melting into water droplets. Ice melts, frost sublimates. It's done. The workers watched Ling Long try little by little, and they all recognized this child who was willing to use his brain and experiment. Master Ling Long, can you help us take a look? Okay. Ling Long began her daily life of running back and forth. When the sun gradually rose, a layer of frost should be condensed on the outer layer of the oil press to prevent the oil press from heating up too quickly under the dual effects of sunlight and continuous use. Then immediately ran to the mill and placed ice cubes at the four corners to create a little coolness for the workers. Then she had to rush back to the oil mill before the sun reached its highest point. At this time, the frost that had condensed at the beginning had generally evaporated, and she had to condense a thicker layer of frost again, replenishing new frost at any time, and also pay attention to condensing only on the outside of the long tube, not affecting the normal use of the crank. Although busy, her eyes became brighter day by day, and her smile became more and more. At this time, Uchiha Su decided to go out in person. In the evening, Linglong was stopped by Uchiha King, who had not seen her for a long time. "Linglong, you have done well recently. Come with me." "Yes, Lord King." Linglong had a premonition of something, and her mood was inevitably excited. After bypassing several houses, Uchiha King took her to a beautifully decorated courtyard. In the courtyard under the moon, a beautiful and elegant lady waved at her. "Linglong, good child, come here." Linglong looked at the lady's Sharingan and beautiful face, knowing that this was another Uchiha, and her level should be higher than Lord King. She obediently approached him and lost herself in the moonlight. "Uchiha, I want to be a member of the Uchiha clan. I want to live a good life. Uchiha accepted my ice escape. I found my value. How can I become an Uchiha?" Uchiha Su was satisfied to see Linglong's sense of belonging to the Uchiha. She held the unconscious Linglong in her arms and nodded to King, who had been waiting beside her. Izuna and Mori were assigned a mission. The mission was unclear, but Uchiha asked them to let Linglong fully integrate into the Uchiha, have one or two close friends, and it is best to recognize a certain family as their own. Family. Uchiha Senna went to the mill. "Are you new to the clan?" "My name is Senna. Hello." Linglong shivered unconsciously. She thought it was because she had just touched ice and was a little cold. "Hello, I'm Linglong. What do you want from me?" Izuna was helpless. Elder Su might have scared this girl before. Even Shinjuru felt that his temperament was becoming more and more like Elder Su. It seemed that he had to rely on San for this task. "I heard that an ice escaper has come to the clan. Come and take a look, San. Hurry up. Coming. Uchiha Mori stepped on the wall and climbed into the yard. "Brother Izuna, you are walking too fast. Are you ice escape?" Linglong's tone was a little weird. "My name is Linglong." "Oh, hello, Linglong. I'm Uchiha Mori. I'm a fire escape ninja. I'm a fire escape ninja. No, I am." Linglong smiled with crooked eyes. "Hello, Senior." Sin pinched his sleeves uncomfortably, looking for a topic to talk about. "Well, I heard you did a good job at the mill. Let me take a look." Linglong turned sideways and said, "Okay, just take a look. After you finish reading, I'm going to see how you did." Uchiha Mori is currently staying in the Ministry of Commerce to exchange information, but he definitely cannot tell Linglong. He stuttered and said, I'm a member of the caravan. Without me, your goods will not be sold no matter how good they are." Linglong still smiled, her eyes showing her unwillingness to admit defeat. "Without me, what are you selling? But you're not a worker. You're just a refrigeration guy. Then you're not a caravan horse. You are just a loader." Snort. Quan I watched the two people bickering and found it a little funny. In the evening, Izuna and Anjuro reviewed the logic of the two people's behavior today. Sen's appearance was planned. He is a somewhat reckless Uchiha who seems to be lively, which is rare among Uchiha. Especially after I first left the impression of Uchiha's inscrutability on that ice release. Mori, a seemingly simple person, is easier for people to get close to. Anjuro was holding the washed ice cherries and eating them while feeding Izuna, by the way. Is that why Aunt Sue asked uncle and brother son to be partners? Yes, and that Linglong should have wanted to contact the Uchiha clan for a long time. However, except for the person in charge, the mill is all ordinary civilians. Two new Uchiha finally came today. Of course, she has to catch them. This opportunity. And what she said, "After you finish reading, I'm going to see how you're doing." Does Anjuro know why she said that? For the next meeting with brother's son, because of Ganlu Temple, Zingjuro can still guess some girl's thoughts. Kanroji is probably already with Ihei. Ihei obviously likes Ganlu Temple very much, but he didn't say anything before. Correct answer. Izuna picked up a cherry. That guy Mori was probably going to be trapped, but could this be considered a plan for the two of them to go in both directions? Chapter 36 Breath of Fire and Ninja Sword. The so-called breathing method is to stimulate the lungs by strengthening breathing, enhance blood flow, put the body in a state of stress, and burst out powerful power. Does it sound like relying on faith and excessive breathing to force the secretion of adrenaline in the body to soar? The swordsmen extend this burst time as much as possible through rigorous training and keep a calm mind to attack. The basis of the breathing method is physical fitness. Only with a solid foundation can you burst out more powerful power when using breathing. Generally speaking, the training of the swordsmen of the Demon Slayer Corps starts with basic training, constantly honing muscles and bones, especially improving lung function, including but not limited to carrying buckets over mountains and ridges, being washed by water jets under waterfalls, and chopping at waterfalls on large rocks in the river. Only when the body is ready can you touch the edge of the breathing method. But in this life, Kyojuro's training sequence is a little different. According to Koichi, Kyojuro was on the verge of life and death many times before he was 1 year old. Due to the threat of death, his body spontaneously used breathing methods to activate his body potential and ensure that he survived life and death crises again.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.